nervous, on the surface I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I still have hope. So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see your God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got.
Well, this one is a knocker. Step in on the dance and I just my dance. Everything scattered. Right? Right?
Come cross.
Right now, man, active. Down with the game like a bandit. Me bring the flame like a matches. That's me no. Without the slackness, active style and pattern, that's on my deck. Active. Active. One live like massive. Talking up and off with brandish. Control and hold the world hostage. When I start the bumper clad mash pit. When they step out to the place, get active. 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 Now. Clocks on the each side, bad bitch on each side. Big splits chilling on the beach side. Run things where you feel like. Cake big, have a carve out the piece like. Freestyle now, millions for each line. Too cool when I need ice in my beverage. Test this bigger, please find the exit. Right now, man, active. Gone with the game like a bandit. Me bring the flame like a mattress. Let's me know. But don't this like Miss Active. Stand up and tell us I'm on there. Active. 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 One live like massive. Talking with an happy brandish. Control and hold the world hostage. When I start the bumper clad mash pit. When we step out to the place, get active. 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 Active.
Everything you want, but you can't have.
Just that's payback, payback. Yeah, you better take that. You could call me selfish and critical, I could take the blame. Just like I could take a match and send it up the flame. Don't say I didn't want that. This might hurt, but that's just karma. Better take that. Call it payback. Don't say I didn't want ya. Stay mad, I know you wanna. This might hurt, but that's just karma. That's just That's just karma. Go and play the part, play the victim. Throw a pity party with your demons. Blaming everybody and you're screaming, screaming. But I'm the one bleeding. You're the one that's selfish and critical, you could take the blame. Just like I could take a match and send it up in flames. Don't say I didn't warn ya. This might hurt, that's just karma. Better take that. Call it payback. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Stay mad, I know you wanna. This might hurt, but that's just karma. That's just
I'm craving hope in this darkness. You say I'm just a joke, just a joke. Shivers my spine so cold. Swimming in the river takes too much. I'm trying to let go of us, but the truth is what you really don't want us. My darling, rose and fire. You're a liar. You say, my darling, rose and fire. In fire. You say, my darling, rose and fire. You're a liar. Shivers my spine so cold, so swimming in the rivers, swimming in the rivers. I'm trying to let go of us, but go.
long time, can't get you off my tired mind. Shadow, let the tape rewind and finally ease my anxious eyes. Oh no, I feel you creeping in, my body bleeding sin, I'm drowning. Heaven, can you save me now from these thoughts inside my head? God, you are the devil, running through my mind. I can't get on your level, I swear to God I tried. I am not under your spell. Turn around and turn ahead. You cannot be anymore. Oh my God, you are the devil. So hard to save. Hallowed by my love for you, always stop me going under. Follow every step I take, cause our walls are coming down. God, you are the devil, running through my mind. I can't get on your level, I swear to God I tried. I am not under your spell. Turn around and turn ahead. You cannot be anymore. Oh my God, you are the devil. Stuck in the back of my head and I'm dead. I got the devil inside me and everything that I'm seeing is red. Vision's blurry, I'm in a hurry, my skin is starting to shed quick. Call up the doctor, swallow some pills, maybe I'll wake up in bed. I'm a disaster, can I move faster? Honey, I'm off the edge. No fun is stopping me, I'm not your property, gotta take care of my ledge. My friends are dead, I'm losing my head, I gotta get off of these meds. I am unstable, willing and able, give you this body to pledge. Oh my God, you are the devil. Oh my God, you are the devil.
Best to give me your loyalty. Best to give me your loyalty. Cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. Cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. calling me royalty.
I could be the one you talk to when you're feeling down. I could be the one you run to when the moon hits the ground. I can say what I'm feeling, but the words just don't come out. If you ever feel lonely, girl, just know I'll come around. 'Cause I've traveled so far just to get to where you are. And I know that you're broken, but that makes you who you are. So pick up the pieces and show me you mean it tonight. I know what you're feeling, I see that look in your eyes. So pick up the pieces.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome everyone right on back to Arena Esports, brought to us by, of course, Etisalat. If you guys are ready for some Mobile Legends bang bang, I'm here, Edu, joined by Burger Kim. Kim, we got a lot of gameplay for us today, so how are you feeling?
Yeah, great. I think the last time I've been here was I casted alone, so it's so nice to have you here. Last time was just
Yeah,
me,
I'm happy to be here.
myself, and I. Yeah, so thank you for being with us here today. And I think it's going to be very exciting here today because I'm seeing um, four teams that will be playing in today's. I think this is the invitational qualifier, so it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, we got two matches for us today. We're going to be starting with, of course, Above All versus Tornado. Both matches today are going to be a best of three. Second match is going to be Exodios versus Okami Friends. And hearing that Okami Friends is one of the higher tier teams in Mobile Legends, maybe might lead us to have some fun here. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also excited about seeing the overall prize pool and the roadmap here to give you guys a little bit of a grounded idea as to how much gameplay is to be had at Arena Esports over the next few months and the course that we do have for us. But before we get into the prize pool and the roadmap, I gotta wonder, what kind of gameplay are we really going to be expecting from these players? I don't recognize Above All, but I'm hoping that after doing a little bit of research in some of these other teams, that at the end of the day, I don't want to see a stomp, because if we see a stomp, it always just ruins the mood for me.
Yeah, it's a best out of three match. So I guess anything can happen here because it has happened. Like it's not a sweep, so you get like a 2-1. But looking at the invitation qualifiers, looking at the teams, I don't really have that information as well about the first two teams. So I guess either these are pro players that are hiding with a different team name, so that could happen. And then I'm pretty sure Okami and Friends, this is definitely probably like an A B tier team. So I don't know who they're fielding today. I think that's the biggest question. I don't know who they're fielding today. It could be like the B tier or the second team that they're feeling out today. So that is also another question because some teams here actually have either like 6 or more players. So yeah, we'll have to find out later on.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we are going to be seeing some decent stuff, as right now I do believe that we are actually at the invitational qualifier. So already we've gone through a few invitational qualifiers. This is the invitational qualifier number 3, and that means that we have so much gameplay to keep us moving forward here. Now, if you guys don't know, if you haven't kept up with the other Mobile Legends events here, we saw a bunch of other teams already qualify to the playoffs, surprisingly. 8 teams are going to be making it all the way through. This is just point number 1, the first little peek into hopefully a new just wash of players into that monthly qualifiers Q3. So this is the start of that Q3 bracket here.
Yeah, Q3, then we're going to be going to the last week. So that's Q join next week, and of course everyone's fighting for a total prize pool of $1,200. First placer gets 650, and so on and so forth. It all comes in dollars, and I believe it's AED. Then you get a bit of Arena Esports credits as well. So check out the Arena Esports website for more information about how you guys can join. And yeah, this is our roadmap
Yeah,
for MLBB.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we can't have a roadmap without the people paving that road. Thank you again to our broadcast partners, Playtonia, for making sure that they have put things on the roster for us. And talking about what they've put in front of us today, it, of course, is going to be the teams we've been seeing. So if you guys recognize any of these teams, make sure that if you're currently in the chat, hype them up. If you're a fan of Tornado Esports, I want to see what you guys can do. Make a tornado in the comment section. If you're a fan of Above All, I'm hoping that they're going to be above all the rest of these teams with a name like that. But, of course, above all, going with the Lich King from WoW as their profile icon might tell me that they are a pub team here.
Oh yeah, I mean some of these organizations actually do like different titles as well. So I don't know. I've never heard of Above All or Tornado. I mean maybe it's because I'm in Southeast Asia, so I haven't seen much of the region here. I think these are MENA teams like Middle East, North Africa. So I'm not so sure. I have to do my research. But last time I was talking to you guys over on the comment section. So if you guys can give us more information about these teams, do let us know because they're pretty new, or maybe they could be teams from the previous weeks. I could be mistaken. Previous weeks, then they decided to change their name.
Yeah, I mean, some people like to just come back fresh, working a lot of qualifiers. You also want to maybe test some waters a little bit. There's going to be a lot of gameplay to be had here at Arena Esports. So if you're already in that door, play around a little bit, have some fun with it, make your name above all and come up above all, but also come up with a great segue to our strategic partner, AD Gaming. They're another one of our wonderful patrons here that make sure that we are keeping the lights on to make sure that you guys are seeing some Mobile Legends gameplay. And I believe we're going to be getting into that gameplay relatively soon. So I'm excited to see what Above All is going to do. Hopefully Tornado is going to blow their way through the competition, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, you mentioned that you've been playing, other titles professionally for a while, and then you played MLBB, and you really had fun with it. I mean, what's your main hero? I'm just super curious.
Yeah, so back when I first picked up MLBB, it was when probably a lot of you guys picked up MLBB for the first time, as it kind of was releasing. I played the beta back on my my mobile phone, and I played Bane. I love that guy. It sucks that he's right now in the dumps when it comes to the tier list, currently sitting at C tier. Obviously, there's some players that really still enjoy Bane's mechanics. Dude does so much damage in that AoE ability, and it really can turn a team fight. So I think that we're not going to be seeing him, but I do have a special place in my heart there for Bane. And a lot of other characters are also, a lot of new characters are on the roster. So I'm just excited to see what this game has evolved into.
Yeah, I mean, Bane is still pretty I mean, you would be surprised if they pulled out a Bane here today. I mean, it can happen because some of the teams actually do that. They pull out cheese threats. They pull out these uncontemporary picks. I mean, I don't know. It can happen. I think BO3 is just the best way to do it because, say, you're the team, you get the lead, you get the first game, then that means automatically the next game you get match points. So I guess some teams, they like to experiment. So maybe they can bring out something different this time. I mean, I'm so bored of the meta right now. If I can just say, it's all the same heroes. Like they just switch in between like 10 different heroes. They just mix and match. They mix and match the bans. They mix and match the picking. So
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have just such a powerful amount of characters being added over and over again. We talked a little bit about the development team for Mobile Legends. They have been throwing characters at these communities. And, that's why when you look at the tier list right now, Nolan currently has the highest ban rate, and the dude's the newest character. Assassin, not really a character that you want to be seeing because who needs balance when you could be throwing a new character for funsies? And talking about balance, we see a lot of characters in the meta right now. Diggy is a character that I saw back when I used to play. Angela has always been a great pickup. And Bruno especially it has been like some characters that I really want to be looking at here. Obviously, guaranteed picks and bans and those kind of characters. And back to the note about Bane, you know, what's good about a character like Bane or any other old school Mobile Legends character that hasn't really found a lot of love, there's no chance that they're going to be banned. So that might increase their chance of being picked. Might happen, but with how many new characters and how many characters there are in total, it's already a 1% chance.
Yeah, I think it's
A lot.
115 or 116. Talking about the heroes too, like you mentioned a couple, right? Diggy, Angela, these are support heroes that actually went from either B tier, they went all the way to S tier because of the new item. So there's a new item now in the game. It's called Flask of the Oasis. It's for supports that heal and give shield, so that's why they're meta right now. That's why they're on top. Not to mention the fact that they're selling a lot of these support skins recently. So I guess that's the reason why they buff these heroes up. Usually when that's how you know that hero's gonna get a skin is when it gets a huge buff. It's gonna get a skin, definitely.
And in talking about those big buffs here, Kim, I gotta point out Guinevere. This character was not really doing too hot. This was a DC tier character for almost the past year, and just until this month, they actually got a big buff in patch 1.8.3, and that launched them into the very playable SS tier right now. So if you're a fan of how these guys are getting picked, I think Guinevere is either going to be an insta ban or maybe an insta pick here. But this
I think
not...
even in other tournaments, it's the same case. I mean, you did point it out. It wasn't viable before because you could pretty much purify her second skill. Like you can cancel her ultimate skill, so it's kind of people wouldn't use it in professional play. But now I think it's I guess it's a mix of different things. It's a good setter. It can farm really fast, and you can also build it to be really tanky. So I guess it's very flexible. That's why it became meta. They also buffed up her second skill, so I guess that's good for Guinevere users. So yeah, if you guys main Guinevere, this is the time to shine. This is the time to bring it out. But expect her to be on top of the ban list.
Yeah, lots of characters on top of the ban list. Now, there's been a decent amount of bans, actually. I think Guinevere, with the position that they're in, I'm looking at some stats right now. If you guys didn't know, in the overall player base, 78% of the bans have been Guinevere. Every time. Almost 79 or 79, 78.93. So that's a character that either you love it or you hate it. And if more than 3/4 of a population does not love it, that could be a problem here for your favorite players that like to pick.
Yeah, are you on the official website, like where they give you all the stats, like how many times it has been? Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah,
I'm on the official stats, and it even gives me a little bit of stats based on other events that have been going on. At the M5 World Championship, 64%, but a 90%. If we're talking about Guinevere here, at that World Championship, a 90% win rate.
Oh yeah, speaking of the World Championship, I guess I can mention this. Like I was given the go signal to mention that. I mean, it's an official tournament. It's the World Championship. It's gonna be happening here in the Philippines. I think it's gonna be happening next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm super pumped for that. I mean, that's it. I think this is the first time we're hosting something this big, and everyone's super excited here because I mean, MLB. I don't know about you, but in our country, in the Philippines, it's pretty big. It's really big. It's like it's the game of the country. Like everyone else doesn't play anything else. Like they just play Mobile Legends, and
yeah, in America, we still have our Fortnite. We don't really have much really dominating on the mobile market. I think PUBG Mobile actually is doing really well right now in the US. So PUBG Mobile, great to see that. And talking about other places, obviously here in the US, Mobile Legends hasn't really found its impact because the United States, we like our guns, and you don't really have a lot of guns in MOBAs. You don't get to have that first-person shooter action. So unfortunately, it doesn't really balance out that much in the player base. But as someone who's loved MOBAs for forever, I used to play Dota professionally, picked up Mobile Legends. I am happy that at least I can be a part of this global phenomenon that is Mobile Legends and the global phenomenon that is Arena Esports. I mean, you're from the Philippines, our producer's from India, half these players are from MENA, and I'm from the United States. It's like
different time zones altogether. It's crazy.
All different time zones. And when I'm casting Dota, my co-caster is from the UK. So we're just
Oh,
throwing
wow.
everything at it. So we got everybody from anywhere here to celebrate what we're really here for. And that's good gameplay and hopefully some positive environments for these players to really find themselves and hopefully make a name for themselves here.
Yeah, definitely. I think the MENA region is one of the regions that's slowly rising up because they recently included like big organizations in their professional league. So I think that's a really big factor why there's a lot of these tournaments popping up. And of course, yeah, thank you so much to Arena Esports once again. I think it should be open to like a lot of teams because speaking of the US, speaking of North America, I believe there was a team here, the one who was able to reach the playoffs. Like that team is qualified for the playoffs. They are from North America because the coach actually messaged me. So the coach is from the Philippines, but he's coaching for a North American team. So I don't know what the scene
nice.
is like there. I know it's growing. There are a few big names in MLBB that's from North America. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully the scene grows even more because I think a good amount of people from the Philippines are actually watching the North American scene because it gets pretty hype. I mean, there's a lot of a lot of trash talks. I would say a lot of trash talks, a lot of hype so far. So I think the North American scene, hopefully, it will grow bigger in the next few years.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing that too. One scene in NA that I can speak on is the scholastic and the collegiate, which is our university level. We are seeing an insane amount of students getting involved into esports. There are now academic
Yeah.
scholarships going on, and Mobile Legends isn't at that point yet here in the US to have those academic scholarships, but there are teams being brought up, and really all it
Yeah.
takes is just maybe 2 or 3 schools around each state to start picking up that game, that esport, and we will be seeing it really rise up. So it's what the players want. So if you are a gaming company right now, you got to be targeting those real esport heavy ads over towards the kids, because if I was a kid in today's economy and wanted to launch
absolutely
myself
go
into
into
esports, go into esports, guys. This is the perfect time to do that. This is the
I mean-
next generation. You don't have to be the Shrouds. You don't have to be, the Dendies. You just have to be you, and just make sure to be an advocate in your local areas. It doesn't matter if you're in the US, if you're in the Philippines. If you are vocal enough that you want something, eventually enough people will listen to you, and hopefully you can form a community.
Yeah, interesting that you mentioned that it's not really like a big thing in North America, but here in the Philippines, it's huge. Like there are okay, I know some pro players here in the Philippines. They dropped out from high school, like high school, senior high. They dropped it to play professionally for Mobile Legends. That's how big it is here. Yep, and there are scholarships. It happens here in the Philippines. Like it's huge. I mean, I guess it's also a factor that some of these kids are from, families that don't really have much. So I mean, playing professionally can give you at least a good salary. At least give you food, housing. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's really big here. Like the huge difference. Like when I ask people from other countries, they usually say, okay, esports is like a part-time thing. So I had to ask you if it was a full-time thing, or are you doing this like professionally? Because I know some people, they do it professionally or they do it like part-time, then they have a day job. So I was pretty surprised that you said full-time. So I'm like, wow, you're one of the top dogs here. So
Yeah, I think the main reason that I have the opportunity to do things full time is because right now it is 8 o'clock in the morning and I am casting over Mobile Legends. And then tomorrow I might be casting over Counter-Strike in a different country. The way that things have really adapted for this global environment, I've got to meet so many people. I mean, I'm talking to you, you're in the Philippines, and just a dope person. So being able to branch out, and if you also want to get into commentary and get into that, make sure that you guys are going through those effective routes as well. It's always a great opportunity to, if you maybe aren't that great at playing, but you really want to talk about how much you love gameplay, maybe start doing what me and Kim here are doing. It's really enjoyable. So hopefully we see more young up-and-comers in the talent pool, but it is a little bit of a tough market, so you're going to have to compete against me and Kim, and I think we're pretty good at our jobs.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm just curious. Since you mentioned it right now, you're doing it professionally for quite some time. I saw your, I saw your schedule earlier. So when did you start? I'm like super curious. Like I didn't ask, I didn't get to ask you earlier. When did you start? How did you get into it? I mean, since we're still waiting for the game, I mean, I'm pretty sure we have time for this. Like, how'd you get
Yeah,
into
it's
it?
interview time. So yeah, I've been a commentator for quite a few years. I started in 2020, ideally. I started back as a little bit of a meme, but hey, we're here now, and it's just you got to go with the flow. If you feel like you want to do something, then just go hit the ground running and send it as fast as you can. But I was told I had a face for radio and a voice to match it, so I had
Oh,
to.
yeah, you do.
Had
You
to get
do.
back in there. So
Compliment.
but but honestly, as we are figuring out how to get connected to these servers, I gotta ask you the same questions. Everybody, if you don't know about the website Liquipedia, you could probably pull Burger King Kim up there, and honestly, a great idea and resource if you want to find out all the background. But I'll just let Kim explain how much you do for Mobile Legends, because I see you as one of the mainstays for not only but also just women in the Philippines, women in esports, as a real advocate for that.
Yeah, I love how this is turning into like an esports podcast. Still pretty much relevant, guys. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of female commentators in general. Like even in the Philippines, there's only probably like four of us. Four of us, one's a host. So I wouldn't like. I mean, she's doing something different, not really commentating. So yeah, probably three of us that do it. And say for me, I'm pretty flexible. I do like play by play, colors. The other girl, she's play by play. The other one's color caster. So pretty much we're a different mix of people. But yeah, I mean, I got into this because of the pandemic. I mean, I played a lot of games before, and I
Yeah.
didn't know this was actually a thing. So when I got into it, funny, it was actually someone from radio that asked me, because I used to do a lot of radio, and he
Oh,
just
nice.
asked me straight up, like, okay, do you want to cast? Do you want to try it? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I play the game, I like it, so let me try casting, and it actually worked out for me. I did a couple of international casts, like mostly international casts, because I really can't do Tagalog. Fun fact, I Tagalog is like the main language here in the Philippines. So I'm actually Chinese. So at home, I speak Chinese. At
Oh,
school,
okay.
so I speak English. So it's a mix of Chinese and English. Then I actually learned proper Tagalog when I went into college. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, that's how far it is. So I
Yeah,
really
but it's
can't do.
kinda-
I can't do it. I can't do a Tagalog cast, but it's not me. Like I feel like I'm a different personality altogether.
Yeah, it's weird. I also speak another language. Could never cast in it. I am
Yeah,
much
it's
more
different.
confident in my English. And talking about other languages, if you guys haven't also checked out our wonderful people casting in Urdu, that's an option. If you guys want to see that over on some other channels as well, I'm sure that links will be in the description if you're seeing this on YouTube, or you can also find other channels linked anywhere that they are linked. But with that in mind, talking about all these different ways that people communicate and get together for gameplay, the fun thing about watching gameplay is that everyone can understand it. If I see a character explode, that one is dead, and I think that just translates to all kinds of languages. So it's really nice to have the universal language of video games in the entire thing. But talking about this gaming universal language, I think we're about to be listening to some actual gameplay as we are finally here at
Finally!
the draft.
Right on cue, right on cue. And yeah, we were talking about the bans, the meta picks. This was one. I still feel like that hero is completely broken. Like they've nerfed it several times, they buffed it several times. I mean, I don't even know what Moonton wants to do with this hero. It's OP. Like once you buff it, it's really OP. But when you nerf it, it's no longer playable. So I don't know
Yeah.
what to do with that hero. That's one of the heroes they buffed up in the last patch, 1-1, a marksman. And I think for looking at the team here, I think this should be, what's the team on the blue side? Is this above all? Above all on the blue side. So Faramis, this was
Yeah.
one of the heroes that, one of the oldest heroes, they revamped it. His ultimate's pretty good in team fights. So I think it's still, despite all of the nerfs, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, and also seeing some other bands that we got. A really common one that we just have pulled out was
Nolan.
1-1 here. That one. And Nolan, of course, you can't have that guy in this tournament. Nuh-uh. insta-ban. There's a reason that he has a 90% ban rate. Broken because, you know, that's the way it was shipped out. Who needs to do testing before we send a character when we can buy skins? No, that's a joke. But what we might be seeing here is hopefully another decent ban, a Joy band. And I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I don't know where the lanes are going to be splitting off, who's going to be going where, because a lot of Mobile Legends is really split. You have roamers, you got junglers, you got off lanes, mids. Not a whole lot of team synergy that you would experience in most other MOBAs. MOBAs like League of Legends and Dota, you have a big focus on early game team play, and team play doesn't really come into effect until maybe the
Mid-game.
4 to 5 minute mark.
Yeah. Should be like mid-game. Like looking at the Joy Band, this is I guess this is a thing about Mobile Legends. They love like buffing up either items or heroes. Like that's why I don't know where Joy
Ooh.
is. But there you go. We were talking about the Guinevere. This means the Angela's open. Looking at the team here on the blue side, I'm still not so sure if this is above all or the other team. But looking at the IGNs as well of the red, the red side or the red team, these are at least 3 of these are pro players. These 3 are pro players, but they're playing under another team, or maybe this is just there. See the Valentina. I was talking about this earlier with you, and it's still pretty much a thing. This girl was released back in 2021, and come on, please give her a break. Give this girl a break. She's never been out of the ban list. Either she's in the ban list or she's always picked.
I mean, you can't have it either way, but I will say, you could tell that a team must be pretty decently in that ELO, in that MMR, in that ranking system if they're doing smart bans. We haven't seen any character get banned that isn't meta to ban. They know what they're going for. They know what they want to see. We're seeing Bruno get picked up. I was actually really excited to see Bruno here. Bruno has a astonishingly low ban rate, but a whopping high placement in not only tier lists everywhere, but also pick rates. So the fact that Bruno isn't on the bans really showcases how many other characters are prioritized over that.
Oh, this is kind of dangerous though. Like they picked up the Bruno very early on, so they can counter it. Blue side can counter it. They can pick up the Ixia here, which is direct counter to a Bruno in terms of the range, the AoE. So they can pick it up, not unless they want to, save their marksman for the second phase. I mean, it's good to bring it out. Pretty much, the picks here on the blue side, it's kind of evident where these heroes are gonna go. Say this Yuzhong is definitely gonna go to the off lane or XP lane. Okay, that's new. That's new. Okay, she was buffed. To be fair, she was buffed, and it gets really annoying when it gets to the late game. This hero can shred tanks, like one hit delete. It happens.
I've seen Leslie do some dumb things. I've done dumb things with Leslie back in the day. So seeing that get pulled out here is pretty impressive. We're actually watching this player pick live here. Looks like they're finally going to end it on 1, but I want to look more so at where do you think these characters are going to be laning? You hit on it a bit, but I'm expecting maybe Valentina in mid, but where do you think that we're going to be seeing them split off?
Yeah, Valentina's so flexible to the point that I've seen some players actually, be greedy and pick up the Valentina or put the Valentina as the roamer. I mean, that's how massive her ultimate is. Like you can pick up any ultimate, and looking at red side here, I think this is team. Okay, what did the production team tell me? Okay, red side is it's above all. So they're taking away all the possible roamers here. I did mention that Angela was not banned earlier. I'm not so sure why the blue team didn't pick it up. I mean,
I
should be a prio.
I think the main problem is they're trying to find their cores, because obviously there are very strong supports still in the pool. Case in point, Diggy right now, one of the best roamers and supports that you can actually get picked up here. So I'm thinking that even though they weren't able to pick up an Angela, what are they banning in response to that? What's the answer? Looks like they might be banning Katrina here, and I think that's pretty strong. She has insane CC, great crowd control for just locking down team fights, and that can really start to impact some of these players. And overall, late game, that's a nuker that you do not want to have standing. And Lilia as well to be added to that pool. I think
I like that, man.
Are
it smart. Really makes sense because so the Lilia, I always say this in broadcast, like Lilia is such a great counter to a Valentina. I mean, her ultimate is pretty much useless. Renders Valentina's ultimate useless. So I guess Lilia is one of the I would say the safer choice if you're going up against a Valentina in a lane. Like the ultimate really doesn't bring that much impact. Like it only heals you, but it doesn't really. It's not something like okay, the ultimate of Yuzong where you can pick up the dragon, or not like a setter tank like a Kufra or an Atlas. Like the ultimate's a little bit more useful, but yeah, the last ban here makes so much sense. And looking at the
No
draft here
way.
of the blue side, this is I like it because there's an equal amount of suppression and damage. I'm just worried about the late game. If they don't get to protect the Leslie, the Valentina just doesn't have that much damage.
I'm really surprised by the Franco pick here. Not because I don't think Franco's a good character. I just don't see it being the strongest option that they had. I mean, it's great for initiating. I think that's where Franco really shines, is being able to force fights. But having an X-Borg as well to back that up, it's all about team synergy with this team composition. So I'm hoping that they're going to work their way through this. But looking at AA's team, that's a lot of characters that I think are going to have issues if they get picked off by characters like Franco, X-Borg, and especially that Valentina. So I think right now, above all, is looking a little rough around the edges based off of my knowledge. And I got to know, what are your expectations here?
Yeah, I think they're pretty balanced. Like both teams are balanced when it comes to the early game. I think we'll all boil down to the late game because I think both marksmen are pretty good when it comes to the late game. Leslie, Bruno as well. Like once you pick up the items, it should be good. And both of them are actually using the Quantum Charge emblem, which is really good for the marksmen right now. It adds up to your max HP. Plus, it gives you some movement speed. So I think both marksmen have to be protected when it comes to the late game. The Lunox is also a great late game hero. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards the draft here of AA.
Really? Okay. It's good to know. I think AA definitely has a lot to prove with the name like above all, but as we are getting underway, I can't wait to see how this team spreads out, searches for clues. Looks like we are going to be seeing that Valentina going for mid, and we're already on the way here. So, you know, lots of expectations of good gameplay. I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing that live up there, going early on for some easy experience, and hopefully they're going to be able to start off strong. But Tornado going to be starting us on the blue side, above all on red. Good luck, have fun, and place your bets now.
Yeah, definitely. I think above all has a lot more advantage here, not just with their composition, even with their marksman. The Bruno can poke so hard in the early game as compared to the Leslie. She needs a lot more time to be able to get the items. Oh wait, this is actually very interesting. It's a roamer. It's a roamer Arlot. What have you? I mean, this has been used. Okay, this has been used, but it's just so weird to see it. I mean, it does not have that much to work with. I'd rather put it in the off lane. I was actually expecting the Hilda here to be the roamer. I mean, because that's the standard.
Yeah, I think that it's very unwise to try to go against a Frankie. Frankie
Frankie.
like that.
I mean, we call it Frankie.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great idea to go in with that kind of harassment early. I mean, that is asking to become first blood. And now we're actually seeing a quick rotation over to top. This roam is looking great, but so far Tornado is just getting some free kills right off rip.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite surprising because at least 3 of the players here are playing professionally. I just don't know if the players here of Tornado are actually using another account or another name because, yeah, I'm sure, 100% sure 3 of these are playing professionally, like in the professional league. So I'm not so sure if this is a cheese strat that they're trying out, like putting the Arlot in the roam position. It already has 2 deaths so far, 2 minutes in. That's like 1 death per minute. And now Tornado's actually starting up the turtle here. If they manage to get this is huge. A huge lead for Tornado.
I mean, they've already gotten 3, so I think no matter what, they have really shut these players back, and everything that this team is doing is all based off early kills, and it's just not working. They're getting punished almost immediately. Case in point, another easy pick from Yuzong, getting that one down. Might be able to do it again. Has to get out in this position, but that is so much aggression. There is finally the first trade-off that we're seeing, and we have a Night Fury wanting to try to duke it out. It actually gets away. Pixel, perfect there. Beautiful job, and still there's fighting in the river. Still, we need to find out if they're going to be able to get it. This X-Borg is not looking too good, but I think could fade out more. And there's it. It goes to actually slay it. Clean help with the Frankie.
Wow, okay. Imagine that was like 2 people zoning you out and you still managed to take the objective. This is such a weird... I guess it's
super weird pickings and positionings of the heroes for the side of Above All. I mean, they overall they have a good draft, but I feel like they're playing too much with this.
Yeah, I think we are there for that. Sorry, I feel like my audio just cut out for a second there, but what we're seeing is definitely a lot of aggression from Above All, but it's a lot of aggression with nothing really working well in their favor. They haven't taken much objectives. Surprisingly, they're actually doing decent on farm. They're not losing too much, even though technically they have been feeding a bit. But with all of the feed, they should be able to balance this back out. But look at this, another fight down bottom. The aggression from this side, I see that the Leslie needs to maybe find an easy pick for them somehow, but there it is. Suppression, big jumps. All four bottom are just farming these guys, and we're seeing another killing spree, but so close to the tower. Are they going to dive? No. Yes. No. That's going to be even more diving, but I think we finally see a punish, maybe, but no, Leslie is able to get out of there just enough to be okay. Lots of damage enough, and should be all right. Joki is able to hopefully work this out, but everybody's kind of had a rough time. Rough start here for Above All. I think Above All needs to work a little bit better if they want to be continuing into this game. So far, it's been real rough and tumble for them, and I'm hoping that they're not going to have that issue again, but in my opinion, it could be a little bit rough here. So Kim, I'm scared for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, on top, it seems like, you know, with the lead that Tornado Esports did here, it's pretty good. Hope they can actually keep this up until the late game.
Yeah, and as our feed has left, it looks like Above All's feed might have slowed down a bit. We're not seeing that many deaths happen. I think they understand that they're getting punished for that over-aggression, and that could be a little bit of a real problem moving forward. But, you know, the funny thing about a game like Mobile Legends is it is so fast. It moves so quick that in the small space that we saw, we actually see them kind of close the gap. It was 9-2, now it's 9-6, so something is working out for Above All.
Yeah, I mean, with the expertise that the players here of Above All has, they should at least be able to, you know, stretch this out up until the late game. I mean, if you're playing this casually, I'm not so sure if you have the same mindset that Above All has. Like, they should be able to play around with this type of pick, but at the same time, like, it's super weird that they're also putting like Hilda in the XP. I mean, it works, but I just don't understand. Like, overall, the Hilda should work much better as the roamer.
Yeah, I think it might be just a little bit of a knowledge check here. Above All, as we know, is a very pug-heavy team, just based on what we see. In Tornado Esports, I think, is, as you put it, acting professionally in their gameplay, in their loops. They are significantly higher up in the farm levels. They're overall money's doing well. The fact that they don't really have much to worry about, this Xborg especially, dude is farming not only levels but might be farming some kills and is going unpunished, taking so much space with no real contestation from anybody here, and Leslie's just going to be able to use that space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 2-0-5-1 more, that should be able to give the Xborg so much leverage in this game, but it seems like a fight is about to break out. Wow, the Lunox is also on a rampage right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has the third item already, so this should be enough to at least rip apart the Xborg, or maybe even the tankiest heroes here. I would say it's like the Xborg, the Franco, and even the Yuzong is super tanky here, and having the Lunox is just great. But you're starting to see the Leslie here, starting to shred damage as well up against Above All.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Mobile Legends is if you fall back for a second, it could either be a make or break moment here. And we've seen a lot of kills actually be taken back. Tornado has really slowed down. The speed at which the Cyclone is spinning is not at the same tier, but the Xborg still alive is going to be continuing their reign of just consistently pushing their team higher in the net worth department. But if you don't shut down Joki here, you're going to have an issue. So they're putting all of their focus in mid and hopefully going to be taking this tower soon to shut them back. And they actually missed that Frankie hook, which could have made or broken that fight.
Yeah, concealed play has been made here by Jamex, the Franco. I'm not so sure if he'll find anyone. I mean, the Lunox can just CC ultimate out and you pretty much evade a lot of the things here. Maro tries to go in, but yeah, everyone else is free hitting here.
Oh my god. Are we going to see the trade-off? We finally see the trades. Now from the top rope with the steel chair, they're coming in for it, but they can't finish off that damage. Xborg is going to have to back it up, but so far, so okay-ish. Not exactly ideal, but Joki is still on that 6 spree. It hasn't been shut down at all, and that's going to be a problem here, because if you don't shut down a character in any MOBA, you're going to have an issue. So I got to ask you, Kim, where are we going to be seeing the change in the gameplay? Are they going to have to, stick to hopefully taking back farming, or maybe just not being as aggressive?
Yeah, I'm actually super curious about the items here. I mean, Joki should at least have the lightning truncheon, so that should be enough. Like that's probably the reason why she's dishing out so much damage here. 602. I mean, she's also level. Okay, so Night Fury is also level 11, but I mean, having the Valentina, right? You can only pick up so much ultimates. And I mean, if above all, they keep on pressuring Tornado just like this, they can actually, they can actually take in towers here instead of going for team fights.
Yeah, and looking at who's taking towers, mid is down, but this Xborg is not. Another killing spree starting to be built back up and just raining that fire down. Might be able to shut down this character. Finally, no! Oh. They teleport around with a shutdown. There comes their gem. Will grab Joki, but the trades might be able to keep it going. They need to get under. The flash is there. The easy hook from the Franco is going to pull him right back, and that's the shutdown into a mega kill, into a complete shut out by Tornado.
Yeah, the problem here with AA's draft is they don't have that much CC. I mean, yeah, they don't really have that much CC. Tornado has a lot more CC here, and having that last gameplay, like, yeah, Zizo was able to shut everyone down. At least took down 4 members here of Above All, and they finally take this. Oh, it's not yet the Evolve Lord, but this is big. This is big for Tornado. They can actually push at least the tier 2 towers here by this second Lord. Is this the second one they took, or is it the first one?
I think this is going to be the second one, but looking at this, we have a second win coming out. Xborg, unstoppable. Takes out Kakashi. Might be able to move it forward here, but look at Soda's positioning. Every time Soda wants to go in, this is the counterplay that's going to work it out, and that is damage incarnate. But no one's actually fallen yet. Joki will be the first to go down a killing spree now, and that's going to keep it going. Another suppression. You talked about CC, and we're seeing it all. Everybody's getting just stun locked out of their minds right here, and that is going to be leading for a quick tower, and as you called it, I believe a tier 2 immediately afterwards.
Yeah, I think Above All just missed their chance. They had a really good draft. Like, I was really expecting this Arla to be in the XP. They just didn't do it.
Oh my.
And now they're getting
Where are you going
punished here. Look at the basic attack coming out from the Leslie here. It's just shredding everyone. Yeah, here's the items. Oh, okay. That's interesting because they got a Necklace of Durans for Joki. So I was expecting at least a Clock of Destiny to amp up the damage. But she actually went for the Necklace of Durans. Yeah, I believe it's countering the regen effects coming out from Tornado. So I guess I do understand. But getting the Lightning Truncher for Joki early on was pretty good. And looking at the items as well as Zizo, like 5-0-10. He has the Immortality too, so it's not going to be easy to take down the Xborg here at this point.
Yeah, I think that they're at a point where they're going to have to build some items that can really shut them down. But as you pointed out, no CC, how do you catch an Xborg? I mean, that's the main problem. Dude has so much mobility. He dominated in the beta for a reason. You could not catch him. That's why you had to pick a full CC team. And as we have talked about, Above All has 0 CC that can really shut this team down enough. And talking about shutting them down, we're about to see an insane team fight here in the top jungle to really shut this back. And are we actually going to see that? Looks like they're gearing for it, but they haven't pushed in yet.
Yeah, I think Tornado definitely has more advantage here. They took down a lot more towers here as compared to Above All. They don't really have that much left. It's so weird. I mean, having a Martis in the jungle, that just kind of signifies that you have very good early game. You should be a bit more aggressive. But looking at looking at above all, they were actually aggressive, but their overall lineup, it just feels weird to have, Hilda and Arlot mixed up. I keep saying that because you don't see that often. Like when they picked up the Hilda, I was like, this definitely will go to the roam position. I don't know what above all is thinking at this point, but Tornado, they already took down 6 towers. They are at least like, is this a 6-7? Probably a 7K gold lead. So I think at this point, like mid to late game, it's about who gets picked off. Say they pick off the Leslie here, that should be a big win for above all.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to pick him off even with this great gank? It looks like they are going to be able to get out just barely, but no, that's going to be the Valentina down, but we're still seeing damage. We're still seeing them fight. The Exborg's not ready to fight here. Doesn't have the cooldowns available. It's just going to try to slowly burst this back, but unfortunately, that might be the second death, but no. Not yet. Yeah, there it is. Joki with the shutdown, but there immediately comes out with the trade. And that is unfortunate. If Joki gets traded out by the Leslie, the main problem, you're going to have to find it. And there it is, the real shutdown. The Leslie's not in the gameplay. Stuns are coming out, and the Exborg has to bail and might be able to get Solus underneath the tier 1 tower. But that is an objective that they will not be able to scavenge.
That's so weird, though. It favored Tornado in that clash. The Yuzong was actually going for the Bruno here, but now Maro as well, trying to zone everyone out while Zoda actually gets the Lord here without any contest. That's actually a good call from above all, despite the fact that they were actually losing the trades. But now they might actually lose this one on top. Last Insanity will not cut it. The Hilda still makes it out alive.
Wow. I mean, both the Hilda and the Exborg were very happy about that position. I think it was a little bit unfortunate that they weren't able to actually get that kill off, though. Zizo, you had your teammate Gem sacrifice themselves to go for that last hook to get that player under the tower to hopefully amplify the damage to finish them off, and it wasn't there. So because Gem wanted that risk, that's going to cause a little bit of a little rough spot on the edges here. So even though this has been a very polished gameplay, that might be the blemish that could start something here. And with this Lord pushing down mid, we're seeing some real issues here for the side of Tornado.
Yeah, I mean, they should have at least won that team fight before the Lord. They had the numbers advantage, and now, above all, should look to capitalize on the situation. Look at the Lunox! Joki goes all the way in and takes down 3. Wow.
Wow.
Massive play.
Ditto. I mean, that was huge. They went in. They knew that, hey, we have this giant guy that's going to be tanking everything for us. Let's get ourselves our first here, too. And that's perfect. They've really just kind of gone blow for blows here and almost leveled it out. And what a great pull. Gem, is he going to be able to turn around in time? No, can't even get them out. Just has to die there. Zizo cannot back his teammate enough, and that's going to be another tower taken here again. And that's big. They're actually, I think, winning now on material when it comes to objectives. They have taken more. They have top and bottom, and that's going to be a huge problem here for Tornado.
The gold lead is no longer evident here at this point. Like, above all was able to catch up. But yeah, looking at how above all is playing this out, they're actually playing out really well, making sure that Venox, the Bruno, is actually able to push down the turrets here. And speaking of the marksman, the Leslie just picked up the Blade of Despair, so that should be something big for Tornado. But if they can't actually protect the Leslie in team fights, it's not gonna be good here for Tornado. Yeah, gold lead is now above all, like 49k. Earlier it was like a 7k gold lead by Tornado, and it all went down to that one clash, and it just disappeared just like that.
It's a spiral effect. I mean, the second that you lose one tower, gold and towers is hand in hand. And you talked about they need something to protect the Leslie. Look at Gem. This is the tank. This is Franco. This is the guy who's supposed to be frontline or initiating most of the time. And unfortunately, he's been kind of taking a back seat, using his own sacrifices to feed Zizo. And yeah, Zizo can do a great job getting these kills, hasn't died yet, but I don't think he's ever going to die and still get a decent amount of efficiency from his kit. Unfortunately, he's kind of fallen off to a very power hungry above all.
Yeah, Joki is the one actually shredding everyone apart. I mean, apart from the sets being made here by Maro, like the Lunox, Joki's Lunox should, I mean, if it was shredding so much earlier,
it should be able to rip everyone apart here from Tornado. I mean, by this time, I think Joki should have at least the Holy Crystal or maybe even the Divine Glaive to be able to amp up that magic damage. But it's gonna boil down to this last team fight. Whoever's gonna win this one should be able to take the Lord.
Oh, that was such a good bait. The way that they just shifted around, hit through mid, made sure no T2. And that is the 5th hook we've seen being missed by Gem. And they're going to have to start landing those, because if you do not get the initiation off, you're going to be get ganked like that. And that's why the Leslie fall. Joki's positioning has won them this game so far. And I don't think that's going to change as they take yet another Lord with no one there to stop them.
Yeah, I think they're gonna still try to contest for this Lord, but having the Bruno here, look at how fast AA was able to take down that Lord. I mean, despite the fact that their jungler was not here to take that major objective, they still were able to do so. Care of the Bruno. I believe by this time, like Venox should at least have, the Berserker's Fury. So that should be like that should be like a really big factor here for AA. I mean, Tornado. 54k, and looking at who they have here, I mean, it should be up to Gem X, the Franco here to set up things for Tornado, but it seems like he has been missing the hooks. So above all, I mean, with the Bruno here, they should be able to lock down the tower. 18-minute mark. This is the second enhanced Lord. This is a big push for above all. I mean, if they can get a wipeout here, this should be at least the end of the game for Tornado.
Yeah, and that's crazy to say, because the lead that we saw here from Tornado early on is just gone. And again, we haven't seen another. There's the hook, and it doesn't land. That's the. I don't think we've actually seen one land in the same amount of time we've seen them get thrown out. So another clean pick. Valhe's down. They are just going to be going. They are going. And hey guys, there's a Lord just beating down your
I was going to point
here,
that out.
Yeah, there's nothing that they could do. They have to focus on the front line while their back line is getting just demolished. And Zizo finally dead.
Yeah, Immortalities have been popped. Yeah, he still has the second armor. So like once he's okay, he's shut down. Yeah, above all.
So one death for Zizo, and yet it also falls at the exact same time everything else does.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's crazy. Above all, just that was fast.
I told you they could end it. Yeah, I told you they could end it there. Like if.
Oh, I trusted you. I trusted you. I just didn't trust the fact that above all could turn that around.
Yeah, I mean the Bruno is a good hero to take down towers. I mean it takes down towers so fast, especially if it has the item. So I was expecting that they do one big push, and as long as they can get that Bruno protected, they could just lock in the tower in that final clash. And yeah, they were able to turn things around. I mean, that was a massive lead by Tornado, like at least 7k, and above all was still able to take, was able to take everything.
Yeah, that was very efficient to turn it around. They recognized their mistakes early on, and then they really slowed down a bit. We saw at the 5-minute mark a huge lead by Tornado, and then at the 6-minute mark, above all was winning it. Obviously, we didn't get to see how they managed to turn it around, but if it is anything like that, I think it was just the feeding ceased, and then they picked it back up with Joki. Joki did a great job to start farming up some kills, and that was the steamroll that made it work. And I don't want to point fingers here, but Tornado, if you're going to be having someone on a Franco, they can't be missing 80% of the hooks that they throw out. It's just not the way to win the game. I mean, that was very consistent flaws in the way that they played that late game. Oh, I think Kim disconnected again. Well, as Kim next to me is going to be frozen just a little bit here. Let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen next. Yet again, it is a best of 3. So with it being a best of 3, we should be experiencing, or hopefully seeing ourselves watching both games be brought back here. But I think Kim is back.
Yep.
And that's good news. So Kim, it's a best of 3. Based off of what you saw in map 1, what can we anticipate? Are we seeing this be a back and forth kind of beat, or was that pretty average for how you would expect players of this caliber to perform at?
Yeah, I think for above all, they just really played with the picks, maybe because they're confident enough. I mean, I talked about 3 professional players in the team, so that should give them
that amount of confidence to be able to play like to actually flex those heroes in different types of roles, because you don't see that very often. I mean, it does happen once in a blue moon, but playing here in Arena Esports, it should be at least like people go for the contemporary types of picks. But I think for AA, they really played around, but they were still able to close out the game. So I think the amount of confidence that they had in each other was a really big factor. I'm not so sure about Tornado though. I mean, they had a massive lead, they just couldn't close it out. I think they just missed out on tower takes and they got shut. I think they had a huge shutdown like in mid game.
Yeah.
They had a one big shutdown, like, and at least like 3 or 4 players were out, and just
Yeah, I think they got really greedy there, Kim. It became a problem for sure for these players to be able to bring it back. But if you have that much greed in wanting to do more and more, we saw that greed turn heads and turn bodies and turn around in fights that they shouldn't have gone for. You already got 3, you already got 2 towers, and then you kind of sold it on the back end here. So that is going to be a little bit of a problem, but hopefully with our next game, we're not going to be seeing the same issues from these players. And as we know, gameplay aside, I'm hopeful that we're not going to see the same mistakes, because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. No real mistake should be hitting these teams that many times in a row. And as it is only 2 matches of the day, only a best of 3, we should be getting into these highlights to see who's going to be able to really break through here. And if you guys are looking at this highlight, just pay attention to the fact that Tornado is given a lead so early on. I mean, they are just given kill after kill after kill after kill after kill, and then they keep that momentum going. But at the same time, Joki has been doing a great job farming. We're seeing great pickups here, an amazing amount of damage being able to turn it around. And that's the kind of stuff that they really want to keep that momentum. But right here, this team fight mid turned above all in the right direction. It showcased their great flank potential, and as long as they can keep that kind of momentum, they just win the game. And that is what they chose to do and did successfully. Wow. And more shutdowns. I mean, Gem being able to shut down that one was nice, but I think when Kakashi just gets all that momentum and they keep it going. But I think the real game-winning fight was probably right around the corner here when Lord fight and they just got flanked. This fight alone pretty much set the stage. The second that Valentina went down, the whole team was kind of scattered. There weren't any real coordinations. You have one player running out doing their own thing and no one's backing them up. So with that in mind, with the idea that these players had a lot of individual plays but not a lot of great team plays, that's what was different with Above All. You look at them on the minimap, on the map here, they're working in full tandem. I don't think that we see one player too far away from another player to the point where you can get picked off. Everyone was grouped enough where you weren't going to be damaged too much by grand CCs, yet everyone was close enough that they can always work on each other. So that is why they took game 1. But now I want to see them do it again. I want to see them do it into game number 2 here, which hopefully is going to be starting soon. As we wait for these characters to really just start to move the games together, we are going to be sending it to a quick intermission. Hopefully we'll be right back with my co-caster, myself, and our second match of this best of 3. So stick around, everybody. We'll be back with that game.
this Abu Dhabi! Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! Let's do this, Abu Dhabi!
And thank you for waiting, everybody. I'm back, and so is Kim, and so are you, to watch game number 2 as we are jumping into the scoreboard here. This is what happened game 1. Obviously, MVPs for both sides. You probably could smell it a mile away, Joki and Zizo.
Yeah, they even have almost the same, well, not really the same stats, but at least the same KDA, like 11.0 for the grading, 10, 3, 12 for Joki. I was talking about the Holy Crystal. It's also kind of weird that Joki didn't pick up a core item like the Clock of Destiny for second item. So he actually went for the Necklace of Durance, which makes so much sense because there's a lot of regen heroes on the side of Tornado. Maybe that's also the reason why she was able to make a lot of combos in the early game that was actually able to give leverage to Venox, the Bruno here, to be able to pick up the items. Because if you guys watch the entire game, Above All was actually really struggling in the early game, maybe because of the hooks here of the Franco. It did land in the early game. I mean, I've seen like at least 2 or 3 land, but when they needed it the most, he vanished. No, I'm kidding. Like, it didn't happen anymore for the Franco, right? Like,
Yeah.
in the latter part of the game, it was the time where Above All, everyone at least was able to get all of their items. And yeah, with the last 2 lords that Above All was able to pick up, it was just downhill for Tornado at that point. I mean, the Leslie here should
Yeah.
at least have some more cover as compared to the Bruno, right? So by the time it reached the late game, Above All was able to at least, like, yeah, it was so fast at how they took down all the turrets of Tornado as compared to the early game. Like, Tornado was able to take down 6 turrets, and in a blink of an eye, Above All was able to just close it out.
I mean, that's definitely true. I will say, when you have a Franco not being able to do their job, it also kind of ripples effects. We didn't see Valentina being able to get enough space. They were the first to go down every time. No one, if you were there to watch the highlights with me, Kim, one thing I saw, and the biggest problem, there was not enough team effort. They had all of the CC, but
Yep.
none of the front line. It was one after another after another. They trickled in to these team fights, and then they kept re-hitting and turning around when they were so far behind on not only players but also positioning. And that caused them to really take a dive here. And
Yeah,
yes,
is it
the
just
Franco,
me? Like, I'm
Yeah.
just curious if it's just me. Like, I also noticed that the team fights were also very isolated. Like a lot of times it was like isolated team fights. I don't know what the plan was for Tornado. Like they each had their own plan. Like everyone was either locking in on the Bruno, and then the others were locking in on Jokey. So I don't know what the game plan was. Like it was a bit scattered for Tornado, but as for above all, like you can kind of see the chemistry there, like between the members, right? Like at least
Yeah.
if Jokey was gonna go in, there was at least some follow up from the rest of the team. But for Tornado, it was a bit scattered in the latter stages of the game.
I think all that they had to do was deal with the AoE that was being brought to the table by the Xborg. And the second that they were out of range of that little flamey boy, they were fine. They were completely okay. They didn't have to worry about anything after that. And they stayed grouped, but just out of reach. They were in perfect synergy with each other. They moved as a unit, moved as a team, and they were able to capitalize on that because you had four. It was, even though it was a 5v5 in the grand scheme of a team fight, positioning it, they isolated 4v1s. They kept picking off these players, surrounding them and choking them off, and then Jokey would come in from the sidelines and just beat them down. So, you know, even though Jokey wasn't there at the start of the fights, was definitely there. But I need to see what kind of draft is going to be happening as we are jumping into game 2.
Yeah, looking at the team here, above all is, I did mention it. You see the badges there on
Always
the
on the way.
blue
Your
MPL
team
badge
is
on top of
banning.
the squad name. That's actually a sign that you're a professional player. So MPL. So three of these players, they played with each other. They actually won the championship a year ago. So this is pretty much the same roster that they had. Their only difference is Venox and Jokey here. So the mid and the gold is different, but the rest of the team, this is pretty much the team that won the championship a year back. So I'm not surprised with the chemistry that they had in the last game. So it's
To
kind of
live,
understandable.
one needs to
Looking at
trick
going
the
back to the
reaper.
drafting phase here, we're seeing a lot of the supports being banned away. This is pretty standard, but it's kind of weird that above all is actually banning the support because they're the ones that can actually pick it up first. Maybe they're going for maybe a Valentina or maybe the Nolan. It's still open, not unless they just want to let
Yeah.
that
Well,
slide.
I think the ban on Kaja is very smart though, because that is a character that can isolate and pick off and just drag someone into a fight that they don't want. With how Jokey is positioning, they're on the outskirts of the fight. If a Kaja jumps on them, they're just dead. So they're playing or banning around their pick style. And oh my god, they forgot to
Yeah.
ban Nolan.
I told you. I
Oh,
think they
no.
respect. They respected. I was already pointing it out. They didn't ban the Nola. They actually respected the Arlot here of Maro earlier. They put it up in the roam. I found that really weird, but it actually gave the side of above all a bit more CC. And looking at the Nolan pick here, I think it's also great that the side of the red team, Tornado, actually can pick up other power picks as well, like the Valentina and the Joy is also still open if they want to go that route. So Joy and Valentina are pretty much power picks here for the side of Tornado if they decide to go with that.
And now I think we're getting into a point where we're gonna have to see some decent picks. I think that look at how scared they were with that. It took them so long to pick. They don't really know what to respond with that because that is a high level player. That is an MLP, as you put it, MPL. That is a professional picking the newest character. That's got to scare you a bit. And Night Fury going right back onto Valentina, the exact same character, exact same everything. Are they gonna have the exact same outcome though? That's the real problem. Zizo though dropped the export, picked up something different.
Yeah, this Joy is actually really good in the jungle. What's common about these two junglers that both sides picked up? They're the junglers that are known to snowball really fast. And I mean snowball really fast if they manage to farm up really well in the early stage. We also forgot about this one. A lot of these power picks are starting to come out here in this game. You didn't see this in the last game. It was actually, I think it was banned away, but this third hero that above all picked up, this is for me, this hero needs to be nerfed. It needs a massive nerf hammer. I mean, this hero can one shot
anybody. I mean, once it has like at least 3 items, it can one shot really squishy heroes. So I don't know why Muton is not nerfing this hero. I mean, several patches have already, gone by and no nerfs. I mean, other heroes have gotten nerfs. Valentina has gotten a nerf. Nolan has received a bit of an adjustment. The Guinevere as well, but the Novaria here, the third pick of above all, hasn't received any nerfs just yet.
Yeah, and I do want to point out we aren't seeing many changes from the team that just got completely turned about here. I mean, Tornado.
I mean, it's only the joy.
It's
That's
only
the
the
only
joy.
difference.
It's only Zizo. And the funny thing is, you're the character, you're the player that had the best game, and you're the only one that's changing anything. That's a problem, in my opinion. From where I was in a professional setting, if you had your best player, obviously you don't want to get red, you don't want to have an issue with counter picks and things like that, but it could be a real issue. So them banning Bruno, I think is smart because they saw what Bruno could do to them due to their towers, due to their backline. But I don't think Bruno is that big of a pick anymore because we aren't seeing the same picks being brought out at all from the side of these guys.
Wow. Okay,
Wow,
everyone's just
okay.
banning away the heroes that they picked up in the first game. I mean, okay, Bruno, Leslie, I think there are still bigger, I would say Iksha should still be respected here. I mean, not unless that's going to be, on cue, right on cue, they banned it away. I think at this point, like both sides are actually just limiting out the marksman heroes. I wouldn't be surprised if a Claude or a Melissa will be taken out here if they're going to go that route of taking out the marksman heroes. So maybe that could be the case, but there are also other heroes that need to be respected here. The roamers are also still pretty much available. The Franco here, I know it's not that big of an impact last game, but the suppression is still pretty much on top when it comes to stopping the Nolan.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but I will say one common strategy in MOBAs is, if you are seeing and recognizing that a team is locking in almost the exact same team composition as the previous match, banning those characters throws a wrench in it. They saw that a mile away, so banning Bruno, though, when you're looking at a team that isn't picking the same, is a wasted ban. I don't think Bruno is that powerful to the point where they needed to ban that character. Obviously, it's a very strong one for sure, and they need marksmen on this team, but locking out that is going to force you to maybe have the enemies pick something that they're even more comfortable with, and that's why you have problems with a Nolan, now Guinevere. Now everybody's kind of just, if you were to say, what is the meta team comp, half of that is already being picked here by AA.
Yeah, looking at the Guinevere too, this kind of throws me off because sometimes the Guinevere goes to the XP lane, but picking up the Esmeralda here should kind of signify that this is a roam. So at least they have some setup here for the side of above all. I mean, I do like the composition here of Tornado this time. I mean, it's a little bit more balanced, a little bit more, I should say, textbook type of draft that's coming out from them. They still need a marksman here. Looking at the marksman that above all has picked up, this is Clint. It's great for in terms of the laning phase. It can really poke in the early stages. I mean, it can easily get countered out. I mean, it does not have that much mobility.
Yeah.
It only has flicker now. So there's a lot of marksmen that you guys can pick up here for the side of Tornado. Melissa is still up. Claude is still up. So I mean, this Clint is so easy to counter. I don't know why they picked this up. Maybe it's a comfort pick. What?
I mean, Clint's one of the oldest ones, but
Okay, I thought they were gonna go for the other one, the Hanabi. That's like a super popular pick in the low rank. I mean, it can get really annoying too because you can just spam the first skill, just knock out the tower very early on, get a lot of those shield XP. But okay, the PNK is a bit more standard here.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I will say the Clint pick is definitely a comfort pick because here's a fun fact about Clint. Dude has a 0.05% ban chance, and the only time they have ever been banned is at the World Championship in a professional setting at a 2.7% chance.
Yeah, I mean, it has the championship, the world championship skin, like the M2 skin, the one that Venox is using right now. It's still a pretty popular pick. I mean, it can lane pretty well. I would say decent amount of mobility. But looking at the Popple and Koopa here, this is a marksman that is pretty much like the Bruno. It has an extra unit. The Koopa is actually the dog, so it's an extra unit. You can use it as a minion. You can use it to push the towers. I mean, in terms of turret pushing, this should be the side of Tornado Esports that has a little bit more advantage on the gold lane. But looking at overall composition, I think the early stage will be really vital here. Like whether it's gonna be Soda, the Nolan, or is it gonna be Zizo that gets the upper hand here, or the early game. Like that's gonna be really crucial here for both sides.
So that leads me into a question here, Kim. I need to know, who do you think has the late game? Because with how both of these teams play, they're going to try to force the late game.
Oh man, speaking of the late game, I think overall composition, accounting Joki's hero here, this is also pretty much a late game hero. Still like the Franco, the second skill, you have to make sure that it hits the right target. Like, just like that. Like the second skill, you have to make sure that it hits the right target. If not, it's completely useless. So
Okay.
overall, I'd still have to give it to Tornado here, the ball pull and Koopa for late game. But I mean, overall, above all, still has a great amount of late game damage. So I'd still say above all.
Okay, and I like the fact that Gem is actually landing his abilities this time, and they're harassing great, but Maro goes in with the first blood, the combo from Joki as well. They just work it together, and they might be able to find another one, and with that slow, they can line it up. Joki might be able to grab it.
Joki can't go another.
Can't go under that. No, not yet. And almost hits it.
Yeah.
Clean attempt, but wait, it's not over?
Okay, yeah, Soda was gonna try to go in. Maro's a little bit low. I'm not so sure if Zizo... Yeah, these are heroes that can dive. Yeah.
Oh my god,
wow.
that
Zizo
movement
just...
diff, that was so clean.
Yeah, I mean, just got outplayed like that. I mean, this is the type of composition that it just messes around with your mind. Like, you can completely outplay people. Say the Nolan, the Guinevere, even the second skill can really throw you off. Like you're not sure if you're hitting the right target here, and the Nolan can actually assassinate the backlines here of Tornado. So I think Soda's gonna build this up to be a damage Nolan. So they, for the side of Tornado, they have to be extra careful of the backline damage here from above.
Yeah, I do see that Maro might not be able to get out of there, and that is going to be the first trade. But Soda's here. The other Valentina needing it, but what a jump in. Mahmood is going to be able to clean up one, and that is the turnabout that they desperately needed. An airborne and shut down. Kakashi might be able to back it up, and yeah, because Joki's just going to be sitting here, not even really focusing on the fight, more just focusing on getting that CC, getting that last hit, is actually getting the money middle of the fight. And oh, great position from Joke, great position from Gem, but even more trades come through, and I gotta hand it to him. The way that Joki has just kind of demanded presence from Tornado, there's so much respect given to that player that I think it might be a problem in less than 5 minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Joki picks up the third item, that should be big. And the Novaria, the thing I don't like about this hero, I seriously don't like going up against this hero, especially in ranked games. I actually banned this hero out because it can pass through walls. But wow, what a jump coming out from Maro. But it doesn't actually translate to anything. But you know what? Above all, can actually go for the backlines exactly like that. I'm not so sure Soda might get traded off here. He actually managed to
Oh my
escape.
god. That's crazy.
Totally it's OP.
No one should be able to do that, but Soda is. I mean, I think that's also just a little bit of a skill dip because there's nothing that they can do to stop it. No slows, no rotations. And right now, above all, even though the score is tied right now and with relatively the same net worth, the way that they're playing is they're breaking ankles here. They're crossing these guys up right now. And that's going to be a problem because on a fundamental level, the skill is just in the hands here of players like Maro.
Yeah, the Kufra here makes so much sense. There's a lot of dashes coming out here from above all, and the Kufra's bouncing ball just, disrupts all of the dashes here, making sure that the Nolan isn't able to pop in the ultimate as much, but the teamfight's about to break here. The Yuzong joins in the teamfight as well, gets the Petrify, and that's going to be a nice pick off there by Tornado. They actually managed to get one, but above all wasn't able to clap back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that they weren't expecting that rotation from the offline really just do things. Mahmood, great timing, and I will give that to this character, give the player as well, being able to rotate enough to try to work it out. But we are seeing that it's a real focus towards bottom, and the second they get in, I think that is going to be a death of Gemex, unless he can find some kind of escape. But nope, it's free. Clint's going to secure that pick, which is massive, and they can just keep it going. And hopefully they can keep this energy up, because I like what we're seeing so far. But Zizo takes out something for a little bit of money there.
Yeah, it's actually nice that above all traded actually gave more pressure towards the gold side instead of getting the turtle. I mean, they could have given, or at least they could have at least traded like a kill there on the bottom side on at least the Popple and Koopa here. But they just chose to give so much pressure here on the bottom side, didn't get the turtle anymore, knowing that Venox will need a little bit more hand here because there's a lot of pressure here on the gold lane. 3 members already rotating towards this side, and a lot of pokes coming out from the side of above all.
Yeah, and look at this. I love the fact that they have just harassed bottom to the point where they're not going to have any space.
Wow.
And what a snipe! Taking that down, I think they opened the door to maybe get a very free tower early on, but Soda's here to do some damage. Zizo is rotated, and finally, that is Mahmood always coming in. The dragon is flying and might be able to find a pick. And yeah, every single time. Great job. They clean house. Great rotations. And if they can keep energy like that moving, then they are going to be able to turn this game back into their favor.
Yeah, Mahmood just has the perfect timing every time. I mean, this guy came from the top lane, and now he's going down bottom side. I like what Soda is actually doing here as well. He's pushing the tower up top while everyone else is busy on the bottom side. I mean, no one has pushed the tower yet in this game. So 6 minutes in, above all actually picks up the first tower of Tornado here on the top side.
And we call that space created. And with that space, they're going to immediately die, though. Joki is able to get picked off in that angle. We do have Venox here. This Clint needs to try to hopefully just get that space. You don't really want to get into any fights yet. The problem with Clint, as you pointed out, is mobility. This guy is slow. He's not going to be able to get out if he gets caught out in any fights. And talking about caught out in a fight, Zoda has the ability to move. That's what you want to see, but can he move away enough? Zizo is still following him pretty tight, and yes, he is out. The trade-ups now, they might be able to clean it out. We do have TPs out. Joko is going to be able to grab it. Maro is down with a mega kill on Zizo, though, and that's massive to really just turn this fight back. But I love the bait that we saw there from the Nolan.
Yeah, the thing about above all here is they're willing to give Zizo all of these objectives, like the turtle. It actually has been buffed up in the last patch. So once you get the turtle, it gives so much gold, golden XP, not just to your team, but to the jungler. So this is the reason why Zizo's just able to pop up this entire game, like 4-1-2 on the Joy. He's been dishing out, yeah, a great amount of damage here. I believe Zizo also picked up the Holy Crystal here, which just adds up or amps up the damage here of the Joy. I mean, backline damage, you can see it, right? Coming out from the ultimate, the electrifying beats of the Joy. He's able to rip, yeah, even the tankiest heroes here apart.
Oh my god, talk about ripping them apart. Night Fury, what happened to you, buddy? That is rough. I mean, this Valentina hasn't had a great last 2 games, but it's just always the first to fall, and that's not ideal. But what is ideal is the fact that we're seeing so much damage being dealt, and both teams managing to stay pretty even. Zoda knows that he's getting backed out, and I think Zoda's just going to be able to leave almost every single time. Has Zoda fallen once? Yes, he has fallen once, but
yeah, he has.
Overall, pretty clean. But there we go. The Clint's down. Zizo is doing what Zizo has done in the past game here. 2 games, technically. And just getting these free kills early on. But I'm still concerned because we saw how that late game played out for this team.
Yeah, I think the thing about Tornado is, despite the fact that they've been getting all of these kills, like Zizo picking up all of these kills, they haven't converted these kills to objectives yet. Like, if you notice, like, they're just going for the kills here. They haven't been pushing any towers, but yeah, just as I was saying, they haven't been able to push out any of the towers. They take down the mid. That is something huge for Tornado. The Lord is coming up, so this should give them so much more space to take that major objective there.
Yeah, and not taking objectives. Instead, they're taking some kills. They might be able to find another one, but the trades are coming through. Maro's actually still standing, which I thought they had fallen. But talking about players that should have fallen, Gem X walks away with no HP. And I love the just presence that Zizo is bringing to the table. Might be able to find a pick here if they want to be even more aggressive, if they got to wait for their cooldowns. But I don't think that above all wants to wait for anything. They needed to make space. They have tower top. They've gained a tower top, but mid needs to fall or they're going to be running into a real issue here soon. So hopefully they can set up a gank and force a fight while people are kind of split off.
Yeah, I mean, the only hero here for above all that can actually... Wow, what a nice set there by Gemex. Ooh, can they actually pick off two? Yeah, Maro's really low as well as Kakashi.
Yeah, Mahmood just can't be stopped. I mean, that dragon is just flying right on into him. Guaranteed stun, guaranteed kill, guaranteed picks, keeping it going. Mahmood's currently sitting at 4-0, and that's actually going to be a tower destroyed over time by just creep waves. And bottom is fallen. And look at this. They might not even be able to get a tier 3. The space created.
They
This is
should be
exactly
able
what
to.
you want.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Popple and Ku. See, it has this extra unit that you can just keep on pushing the turrets. It's pretty much like the Bruno, and that's what the Tornado's doing here, creating space. Yeah, I don't think the Popple and Kuba should be able to escape this one. That is going to be a 4-man gank on the bottom side. I mean, for the price of the Lord, I would say that is still pretty good. And Zizo hasn't been shut down yet. So this is still pretty much Tornado on the driver's seat here as of the moment, right? I mean, speaking of on the driver's seat, Night Fury 032 on the Valentina, and we haven't seen it pick up any of the ultimates yet from above all.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much, but look at that. The shutdown is going to be here. Big pick. Killing spree for Soda as well. That's going to be a ton of gold over to the him. And that might be able to really slow these players down with Mahmood not being able to be in a lane to farm. Obviously, the Lord is going to open the door. Might be able to help them grab this, but I don't think it's actually going to help them take the tower. They don't push as a team with the Lord, which I think is a massive misplay, but they might have a real way to take it. They distracted with the Lord bottom, takes up mid T2, and they have so much space now, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get out here. Kakashi going extra ham. Why is Kakashi going so aggro? It works, though.
Yep, he's able to eat up the shields, and they're able to get a double kill for Soda there. I mean, Kakashi just being able to do things. I mean, it's understandable because apart from Maro, Kakashi's the only one that has CC here. Now, wow, triple kill? Going for the shutdown as well onto Gemix. They pick off 4 here. 12-minute mark. Above all, they just keep doing this mid to late game. They still find ways to actually take someone down. I mean, overall, the macro gameplay, macro, micro, it's still above all that has the leverage here. All they need to do now is at least push the second tier here of Tornado Esports' turrets. I mean, if they manage to at least take this next Lord, this should give them a little bit more advantage, right? Tornado has been pushing all of the waves so far in all of the lanes here of above all.
Yeah, I will say, though, fight, even though it went beautifully for above all, it did cost them the tower tier 3, which can be a problem bottom later on. So, I mean, you got to find the silver linings here if you are Tornado. You got to find the ability to, you know, breach in the eye of the storm, as you might want to call it. But these players are about to be rocking in. Gemex is caught out, and that's going to be a free pick if they have enough DPS in time. And I don't think Gemex is out. No, Jokey gets it down. Final blood on that. But so far, above all, it has really just dominated in the kill department here, and they are now pick up towers as well. Clint doing his best job, takes the final tier 1 at bottom.
Yeah, Gemex has all of these, has been landing these really nice sets. They do, like Gemex has been getting some good follow-ups as well from Tornado Esports, but the problem is that above all is starting to just go for these isolated pickoffs, which is kind of working for them, right? Like you think that they're trying to start a team fight, but they actually did a lot of good isolation plays here, especially in the pickoffs earlier. Now the lore is going to be worked on here by Zizo, half HP already. But Soda has been getting all these pickoffs. He's been on a rampage so far.
Yeah, Soda has no reason to be shut down yet, and I don't think they're going to really have any issues taking this Lord if they can find one more pick. They've already leveled it out, and unfortunately, Shibab has a 20-second cooldown. So, wait, Knight, where are you going? You're going in to back up Zizo, and Zizo doesn't care, takes out Venox, but Kakashi ain't done, still wants to fight it, but you guys are too focused while Soda is in your back line, taking out your big players. Mood is now down, Shibab's down, and unfortunately, that is not going to give you enough space. They can keep fighting this up. Maro is just knocking players up, knocking them down, and Soda might be falling, but just kidding. I think they finally full control over this this area here.
Yeah, Zizo's just dishing out so much damage with the electrifying beats. I mean, even Soda has to go back for some HP. I mean, I already pointed out earlier, if you pick up a Nolan, you're definitely going to build it as a damage dealer. So you don't really have that much defense items. And looking at Zizo here, he has picked up at least, yeah, the Blood Wings. So this is like additional 250, no, 150 magic damage. So that's a lot for above all to take. And without any Athena shield, without any of those magic defense items for the Nolan, it should be easy to take them down. But look at Kakashi, just zoning everyone out. Zizo as well, going in for the back lines. He's able to pick up 2.
Ooh, and Soda's going to be able to use what Kakashi has set forth to maybe get the duel, but no! The turnabout from Mahmood and Zizo is just too big. Kakashi is still stuck here. I mean, from zoning him out to being zoned out, and unfortunately leaving your team all alone, that might be too much aggression, and your team's not there to back you up. So Lord is going to get taken, but wait, Kakashi, can you swipe it?
Whoa. No, he can't.
No.
Definitely not. Yeah, I like the attempt though that they tried to go for the steal, but numbers advantage definitely for Tornado. I wasn't so sure what Kakashi had in mind, although he does have the Purify as the battle spell, so he was at least hoping that he could land like 3 members. Then Joki gets like the second skill to land on at least 3 of them, right? That should at least buy them some time to take that Lord. But now 16 minutes in, they got the enhanced Lord here. Above all, it was just that one team fight that Tornado Esports won, and it was able to turn it around once again. It's like a pendulum here for both sides. They're setting up this death bush onto... Oh, wow. Onto Zoda.
That was a
yeah,
blink.
instant delete.
Yeah, I mean, and Soda could not have had a worse time. Just wanted to come back, maybe get some money from the lane, and yeah, not ideal. But Kakashi's here to try to maybe CC this out, but Tornado, they are brewing up a storm right now. Unfortunately, this is a very similar position that they were in last game. Can they keep it, though? Last game, it was tough. They've managed to take it, but with the Lord's help, they are going to be able to end this game real quick.
Yeah, Holy Crystal and that Blood Wings. Yeah, it's not going to be enough as we're going to game number 3. I mean, okay. I wasn't so sure what what above all had in mind there. They were going in 1 by 1 in that last and final clash. They were making so much mistakes. And Tornado Esports, I was like, there's a Lord coming in and you guys are starting out team fights. That's not really necessary. So yeah, I mean, they should have at least defended the base first before they went for the team fight.
There's a lot that they could have done better, and I'm hoping that they're going to learn from that. But I think what we just saw was that Tornado Esports had learned from the mistakes. We really gassed this team up here, and unfortunately, they got shut down in this second game. And maybe, just maybe, it was, as you might have called it, just a little bit about the picks. I think that they picked very powerful characters, but I don't know if they had as much experience with those characters as, let's say, some others. I mean, obviously, that Clint wasn't able to do much. We didn't see so much from the marksman on that side. You can compare that to the opposite marksman, and they were taking towers every single second. I mean, it was just so much push power.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why they didn't pick up like a Claude. That is still pretty much on at least the A tier. Like Clint is at least like a B tier marksman. If you ask me, overall, like going up against a Popple and Koopa, you need to have that mobility as well. Like the Clint didn't have it. I mentioned it earlier. It only had the flicker. So having the joy on the side of Tornado Esports, you can just take down the Clint. One ultimate can just take the Clint down. They should have at least gone for the Claude. That would have given, above all, a little bit more leverage when it comes to the team fights. But yeah, it's a weird draft. If you think about it, like when you see all of these heroes open up, right? Like, oh, this hero's open and Guinevere's open, Valentine is open. You're gonna get really greedy, right? And just pick up all these heroes for yourselves, and you don't actually think about how the overall composition of your team will be like.
Yeah, I think at the stage that these players are in, I think that was really just a testament to the fact that even if you dominate in one game, it doesn't mean that if you're going to be switching up so much that you're going to be able to do the same. Mahmood, especially, proved themselves that consistency is king, and they were very consistent in this you pick. And really just that dragon coming in almost every time. The early game was dominated because of the rotations, and they rotated with their team. And that's what makes the cake. And I think that this team won this last game was because they were able to say, okay, we had mistakes, but let's make corrections. And now let's see those corrections on our highlight reel.
Yeah. I think above all actually did pretty well here in the early game. What was different here for the side of Tornado is that Zizo was just able to pop really early, although Soda was able to catch up in mid to late game. But I think overall, like Tornado was able to work really well with this type of lineup, and having the Kufa, right? Having Gem X actually set up with the Kufa here with the Tyrant's Revenge, it just gave Tornado Esports so much more advantage in the team fights, right? Having someone to make the plays here was really a big factor. This was one of the big wins for the side of Above All. They were able to get at least like 3 or 4 kills. This was the pick off on the Gemex. I was like, okay, this is good for Above All. They're able to get these solo pickoffs, but this is actually the part where it starts to get really interesting. Isolated team fights, they were able to, I think this was the part they were able to shut down Soda. I like what Mahmood has been doing. You did commend him in this game. He was actually zoning out the backlines really well, which is exactly why Tornado Esports was winning in all those team fights. Zoning out Venom, the marksman, and even Jokey there. So I mean, you being the damage dealer, you being the backline damage dealer, you want to be in a safe spot. And with the dragon flying on top of you, trying to get that petrify onto you, it's not going to be really easy to get that good positioning, especially if you're the damage dealer.
Yeah, and looking at that, I think that maybe the MVP, yes, obviously Zizo was just insane at jumping on these supports in the back line, jumping on these squishy marksmen, and that really led into their favor. But Zoda, I gotta say, Zoda did such a great effort. I mean, really was able to mow it down. Kakashi as well was able to, as you put it, zoning him out. But I think Kakashi bit they could chew a lot of the time and wasn't able to be as in enough of the fights because they were so focused on doing what Zizo was doing without the same like efficacy there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that Mahmood is more present in the team fights because he doesn't really need that much mana. All he needs to have is that energy. Like, you build up that Hunter Strike, the second item, you can at least join in team fights. But as for Kakashi, it's actually pretty interesting that the Esmeralda didn't build up the talisman. Like, so it's kind of understandable why he isn't present in the team fights, because he has to go back to the base for mana. So I mean, usually like you build the Esmeralda to have like a mana regen. Like having the tough boots, it doesn't give you that much mana. Building up the dominance ice, yes, but not having the enchanted talisman, that's something big for the Esmeralda, which is probably the reason why he hasn't been able to join the team fights until it was the late game, where you've seen like Kakashi zoning everyone out. But by that time, it was already super late. And speaking of Kakashi and Maro, by the way, um uh they're both roamers of their team. I'm not so sure if it's still their current team, but their team in MPL, they're both actually roamers. So they actually fielded Kakashi here to be the XP lane. So I'm not so sure if that's a big of a difference, or I'm not so sure if Above All will put Kakashi back in the roam position, Maro into the XP lane later on, since they're trying out this new roster. I'm not so sure if this is like a premonition of the roster that will be in MPL in the next season. So I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I don't think that they had too much synergy there with these two Turkish Turkish players. I think that they really just weren't able to do much. Joki though and Mero, they have to be a group here in. Sorry, the way that they were playing, they were so beautiful in that mid position. The way that the early game went for Joki and Mero was just getting these kills. The word enabler is always a great asset to a support, and Mero was an enabler for Joki. Joki would not be 8.2 without Mero going 4.6. It's just a trade-off that has to happen. The problem though is when you compare that over to some of the other players on this roster on the side of Tornado, they don't need someone to enable them to get kills. If you're Zizo, you just run in and you get the kills. So I think if they want to win this next one, they're going to have to do less sacrificial plays and more just hot shot kind of rock.
Yeah, Kakashi. Yeah, speaking of Kakashi, like just a very interesting trivia, because I casted some of their games, and Kakashi is actually one of the most experienced players in their roster. And if I'm not mistaken, he should still be the captain here, since there was a time he actually went from being a player to a coach. Then he went back to being a player. Then it became like someone in the product. I don't know, like Kakashi's like this all around guy. So pretty much like you, like you you played professionally for a while, then you became a caster, something like that. So Kakashi, I would say, has to really step it up here, in this game, because we haven't seen his presence so much yet in this game. Like being
Yeah.
the XP laner, it's different. Like being the roamer, you can be the shot caller, but Kakashi this time playing a different role. I think it just affects the overall synergy as well of above all.
Yeah, I think what we really need to see here is if you're a veteran player, act like it. If you're going to be someone who is in that coach role, be the IGL, be able to just group your team together. Kakashi was doing their own thing for a lot of that backline, that zoning that they were doing, and not really regarding a lot of the issues that were being had on their front line. We saw the supports getting taken out because if Kakashi's running in, who's running past Kakashi? Well, 4 players. So it kind of balances out. But as we are going to be jumping into our next game pretty soon here, I'm excited to see how this match is going to end, because we still have more gameplay here afterwards. We have another one that is going to be coming up here as well. So if you're a fan of Mobile Legends, stick around, because we have so many just really solid players here. But as we're sticking around, I think we have a new draft for this match.
Yeah. Still, it is going to be above all on the blue side. And looking at how they drafted for the past 2 games, there's only one common denominator that I see, is that they pick up a pseudo roamer here, or a pseudo tank. I would say, like they picked up Guinevere in the second game, then they picked up the Arlot in the first game. So both of these are actually fighters. They do have CC, they do have they do have CC, but the problem is it's not as good as like the hard tanks, say the Kufra, the Atlas. It's just really different, but it still pretty much works. I guess for above all, they really want to test out, or they want to max out these meta picks. If it's available, they're just gonna pick it up. And now they start off the bans by taking out the Joy here, respecting Zizo as well on the Joy in the last game. Played a really good Joy. It was actually the MVP. If I'm not mistaken, they were on the blue side last time. They also banned away the Angela, not unless they want to let it slide, because they can actually pick it up.
Yeah, I think that it's a decent idea to really just work with your strong suits. And what we saw is we saw Zizo put fear into all of into above. I mean, they scared him with that gameplay to get MVP. It makes sense that they ban the Joy. It just does. But looking at some other bans that we're going to be seeing, I'm expecting, hopefully, they're going to be banning the this player Mahmood's favorite. He's only picked one the entire time, and I think shutting him out of that is a smart idea, because in my opinion, even though MVP was Zizo, early game that enabled Zizo to get so fat was Mahmood's ganks. So shut this guy out.
Virology is my craft.
Diggy.
Is my name.
Okay, pretty interesting, because Diggy can get really annoying. There's still, I feel like they're thinking, okay, if we do take out the Yuzong, there's actually a lot of other picks that will be opened up. So maybe they leave that later on. There's not gonna be any of these burst junglers that will be up for the taking, but this is quite surprising. Usually people would go for the Angela first. So they pick up still the Guinevere. I believe this is still going to be going to Marrow, still going to be the Roam, not unless they switch it up later on. So I think this is more of like a flex pick coming out from above all. And looking at the heroes that are still open, Night Fury has also spammed the Valentina for the past 2 games, and I think it's still going to be the same case here. It's just so powerful. And although we haven't seen a lot of the ultimates, the useful ultimates being picked up by Night Fury, it still worked out really well for them. I guess if you want to go for the meta picks, pick up the Valentina, pick up the Angela here. Those are just 2 great picks here for the side of Tornado.
Yeah, I like the picks that we're seeing here. I think that it's going to really work out for them, but I think Night Fury been a little bit of a one-trick pony today. I don't mean to say it
even Mahmood
is wow, just back to back the same thing. Soda though, I love Fanny. I love this character. It's just so nice. It's just
he's just flex. Oh, you know what? The last time Soda was here on Arena Esports, they actually the opponent actually banned away the Fanny. Respecting. So again, because Soda is one of those players that can pick up those assassin picks, Link, Fanny, but actually he's pretty much very flexible, going for the tanky type of jungler. Still very viable right now. They're still not gonna reveal what Soda's pick is gonna be. Maybe leave it for the last pick. Maybe tease a little bit here, for the side of Tornado Esports. Maybe bait them to pick out the Kufra. Oh yeah, maybe we're gonna pick up the Fatty, pick up the Kufra to counter us out. So they want to leave that pick maybe for the second phase, which is actually really a very good choice here for above all, like keeping their jungler as the last pick. It could actually surprise. It could actually surprise Tornado here because looking at how the ban is gonna be, like it should be either Soda or Alpha here who's gonna pick their heroes out. Oh wait, they're fielding another player here. It's gonna be Alpha playing instead of Kakashi actually this time. So I was just talking about Kakashi. He might actually
Maybe you
be
want-
in the backlines right now. He might actually be the one in the coaching
Yeah, the
staff
coach
right
role.
now. Yeah.
I think you called it. I think that's a great analysis there. I mean, if anything is there to really lock it in, I like it. But now we're seeing some bans to try to trade it off. But Alpha, I'm hoping, is going to be able to really prove something. I mean, got the MPL in their name, obviously. Got the Pro
This is
League
the
right
real
there.
offlaner. Yeah, Alpha's the real offlaner of
They're bringing
team. So,
they're bringing the
yeah, they're
big
bringing
guns
their
out
real-
for.
yeah,
This is
for the
scary.
last game.
Choose my own
Yeah. Alpha is really the XP lane. So I mean, if this guy is just playing his original role, they should be able. Yeah, this is the time to bring it out. This is the last game. After all, they won the first game, so this is match point for both sides. Pretty much bring out the best of the best. And now both sides are just spanning out all the possibilities here. Now with Alpha playing, I'm not so sure if Tornado Esports knows that he's going to be playing. They actually banned away the R lot despite the fact that their Guinevere has been already picked up here. The Diggy ban was already out, so there's no way to counter out this Atlas. I mean, anti-CC like the Martis would be a great pickup here, great early game as well. But now Alpha actually bringing out one of his strongest picks as well here. This is actually one of his signature picks, the Khalid here. So yep, I think for this game, above all, is just bringing everything to the table.
Wow. And if they bring everything, we're going to have to see it bring down the roof here. Obviously, you could tell the gloves are off for this team. They've rocked in some really interesting picks, and they're bringing a whole new player to the board, and that's going to really just put a lot of pressure on Zizo, who single-handedly carried last game when it came to doing some real damage. So we need to see somebody who can try to blitz some of these players down. Joki cannot stay alive. Guinevere, Maro cannot stay alive. Venox definitely cannot stay alive. So you're going to need someone who can get in that back line. And we're seeing what game one brought us.
Yeah.
We're seeing Zizo yet again on Export.
Yeah, I would actually have preferred the Lancelot pickup for Tornado. That could have at least put some pressure on the marksman and even Joki here. The Lancelot can really take down the backlines. And what I really don't like about the Lancelot is that you can build it to be a hybrid. Like you can build it to be a tanky Lancelot or maybe like a half damage dealer, half tanky build. And it's really annoying because it just dashes in and out. Pretty much like the Nolan. You can dash in and out, take down the backlines, and you leave unscathed. Like it's just I guess it's a really good pick. I'm not so sure. Zizo just probably wants to go for the comfort here since it's already the last game. But looking at the overall picture, I still like how Tornado Esports just picked up a very textbook type of draft here. It's a very balanced type of draft as compared to the draft here of above all. It's I would say 50-50. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well then they're done for here.
Yeah, this could be it. This could be the thing that makes or breaks them. And I mean, breaking them is definitely what we want to be watching here for above all. Tornado might be able to stay alive, stay here, but Zizo wasn't able to have that much efficiency in that game. I mean, I remember the first time he died was the first time we saw a end of the game happen. So I'm kind of concerned, but above all, wants to push in this, wants to go with their real aggression. They might actually grab a mood early here, but mood this time is in a completely different lane. So this could change things.
You're gonna bring out the big guns. Alpha, he's really comfortable with this lane. This is the lane he has been playing in the professional league, and I think above all, right now knows it's no longer the gold lane that you need to pressure. It's actually Mahmood here who has been so proactive in that last game, and they need to shut him down early on. So I like this rotation coming out from above all, so they know that Venom can actually at least pretty much handle himself in the top side. I mean, the Leslie's not gonna do that much damage in the early game, not unless
yeah, not unless Tornado's gonna go to that top side. But yes, pressuring this bottom side is a big factor to the rotation here of above all. And I like the adjustments that they're actually doing in this game. They're actually gonna be able to take down at least so much gold plating here before Mahmood comes back. So this is a very, very big advantage in the off lane here for above all.
Well, let's see if they can really bring that energy to the forefront. We're seeing a little bit of damage being dealt, and already a lot of fighting down bottom. Zizo is going to have to just go for their little tap damage, but as you said, Alpha is very confident in this. Look at that. They are just completely zoned bottom. They've taken half of the tower here, and they're unpunished with how much space they get for free. However, this is 4 players for above all down here in this lane to really start to heat things up, and sometimes crowding a lane could be a problem here, but if you grab the turtle, it's going to be all worth it.
Yeah, the thing about above all here is the reason why Zizo was able to pop. You're right. It's because of Mahmood, and also because he's been winning his lane in the last 2 games. I mean, they did lose 1 game, but it was a big factor that Mahmood was able to join the team fights. Zizo was able to get the turtles, and now with the rotation that above all is doing on this XP lane, it just really contains Mahmood in his lane. Like Alpha's already level 4, Mahmood just turned level 3 here, so that itself is already a huge win for above all. And this also gives so much space to Soda and Venox to actually scale up in this game. So with Alpha containing Mahmood here, they shouldn't really be worried about the Yuzong to join in the team fight. So later on, they can actually take care of the top side. I think they should be able to take down the Leslie there. And yeah, above all is just going all out in this game. Early game, they're doing really well. And this is exactly what they need to do because they have a Martis. They also have Alpha on the XP lane. They can be super aggressive here.
Well, let's see how they're going to be able to really duke it out, balance it out, go forth with some DPS. We have Joki in mid. This time, Joki might have a little bit of an issue. I like the fact that Valentina is mid this time, but Venox has already taken towers. God, they want to end this fast. They have a 3K gold lead from all of this, and Maro going in with that, and just so clean. But can Zoda get out? I think they can. The stun lock's coming in, and Venox is right around the corner to try to back him up, and unfortunately, that range from Leslie is just too strong.
Yeah,
shut him back, and
there's just so much team fights happening here. Lots of pokes coming out. Can Venox? Oh, wow. He's able to outplay the Leslie there. I actually got confused for a bit because Night Fury actually picked up the ultimate there of Venox. So I actually got confused for a bit. I thought it was Venox popping in that ultimate. But now Venox actually going to get punished up top. Yep, they should be able to get this one. But again, above all, won the trade on the gold lane, even on the bottom side. So this at least should give them some breathing space in this game. 13K, 3K gold lead in the 4-minute mark. This is big for above all. Now the question is, can they actually, bring this lead to a higher level? They're able to take down the tower up top. So I think by this time they should ask Alpha to switch out with Venox.
Yeah. I will say, though, Alpha is here to stay. Look at that damage. Might be able to get taken out. And yeah, the slay is going to come through. But look, it's Mahmood. Always ready. And this time bit off more than they could chew. Because you weren't able to win that lane, you're not strong enough to pull off the same or similar plays. And that could be a real issue here. So far, Above All is setting up. And here's a fun fact about Above All. This team composition, this roster is actually the exact same roster for Team Occupy, the Egyptian team. So I like that we are seeing them just all together on a pug team while still the same bros, still the same dudes wanting to duke it out.
And now all of these members from Team Occupy that are playing for Above All, they're actually playing with their main role, and that itself is just stating that Above All wants to take this, and now they are on like 7 kills 5 minutes in. This is just Above All just creating so much pressure in the early, and it's exactly what they need to do, right? I mean, once the Leslie is able to get the items, it's not going to be easy to take it down. I mean, only Maro can take it down. Joki perhaps, but Maro has been so good in this game, getting in a lot of those ultimates up, as well as double kill earlier on the roam position. Is just really good. Even Zoda here is being super aggressive on the takedowns on the back line. Zizo on a killing spree, but I don't think that is enough because Above All, 19k lead as compared to Tornado, and they've taken in at least like 2 or 3 towers, going the 3rd, by the way.
Wow. just really wanting to push this in early. They don't want to get this into a position where they don't have enough space to farm later, but Maro just jumping in might be able to little switcheroo here. But look at how stacked mid is for Tornado. They don't have that much space to really farm much. We do have Zizo currently trying to just balance out by getting as many jungle defeats as possible, just keeping it going. But Alpha is here, Joki is ready, and I think they want to shut down as much money as possible with those hands, because they know what Zizo can do with this character from game one.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that can actually take down Zizo here should be Venox. And now, I mean, above all, Venox has just been so aggressive in taking down this lane. Wow, lots of folks coming out, but I think a team fight is about to break out. Jemik's gonna try to go for the back line here. Unable to find anything, though.
Oh, an Alpha plus Soda just too strong. Zizo finally jumping in, but left half HP, might be able to stay alive. Just kidding, you're gone. And that's going to be a shutdown. Another one down. And talking about another one down, there's a tower that does not get to stand any longer.
24,000 for above all. And I mean, the turtle's just about to spawn, the last turtle of the game. That's how fast this game is going. I mean, 7 minutes in, they've taken in at least 4 towers for above all. This is just them making a statement that we're not going to repeat the mistakes that we did in that last game. And having Alpha here just enables the entire team here of above all to be as aggressive as they are right now. I mean, looking at Mahmoud's stats, 0-0. This is not something that you've seen in the last game. Like, Mahmoud was just on a rampage earlier with this Yuzhong, and now they were able to contain it, care of Alpha. And it just worked so well here for above all. They were able to take down a lot of the towers, and they can be equally aggressive here as well. I think they are also trying to pressure in the jungle camps here for Tornado.
Yeah, and they're bringing not only the pressure, but the kills. A killing spree. Alpha, don't get too aggro, or you might be turned on. And yeah, that is going to set it back just a little bit, but so nearly finishing off Zizo. They're all the way back in the fountain as their towers are falling. Another tier 2. Let's find the final one. A quick rotation to mid. They're going methodical on this. They're taking top, taking bottom. They're taking everything one tick at a time. And now they're going to have to take it together, as this is a new fight to try to grab it, but could be a little bit too aggressive here. I don't think that they really have that much to work with, but no, Maro might be caught out, and that is a dead Guinevere.
Oh,
just kidding, I lied.
They're still on it. Yeah, wow. I mean, Tornado here has been like back and forth on the team fights, and Maro, wow, it's a shutdown. And yep, that's gonna be Soda diving in as well for the final pickoff. That's 4 members. What just happened there? I mean, it all started with, okay, so I think Maro was willing to be the sacrificial lamb there. And yeah, the taunts are coming in here for above all. They're that confident that they will take this game.
Yeah, I think they're incredibly confident, because the way that they're playing, it's just perfect. I mean, they brought Alpha on. All right, they brought their big guns out.
Yeah.
Case in point, Soda's here as well. I don't think there was a lane that they lost. Well, there is a shutdown and a player that they lost, but I don't know how far that's going to go. But maybe getting too greedy could cause some kind of discrepancy. But the difference in net worth is 7,000 right here. So if they want to start turning it around, they have to do so now.
Yeah, Maro once again with a nice setup here. Zizo does not have his armor, and I think they shouldn't force out the team fight here with Venox. Yeah, this is exactly what Mahmoud is good with, taking down the back lines. Like, you see how, Maro was trying to zone away Zizo, but he completely forgot that Venox was completely unprotected at that clash, and now it actually bounces back to Tornado, and they were able to pick off 2 right before the first Lord of the game.
Ooh, and Alpha going in solo is just going to grab Shebab. That is not good. Shebab should not have been able to be taken out so easily, but that's the power of a marksman versus the power of Alpha. Now, we are going to be seeing them try to go for Lord. I don't even know if they have the strength to take out Lord without that marksman, without that real DPS, and I think they don't know either. And with all the zoning that they're seeing, Mahmoud almost gets one hit by Joki, and there is a lot of damage to be dealt. Soda is back online, and we're finally seeing the Guinevere just booking it as fast as possible, but are they going to be quick enough to see Zizo taken down here?
Okay, they missed that ultimate from Venox, but that was enough to actually cause Tornado to actually back away. This should signal, above all, to actually start working on this first lore. This is not the enhanced one, but this should at least take down the inhibitors of Tornado by this game. I mean, I think what above all wants to do here is just to take down as much towers as they can and create so much space, because that's what Tornado has been doing for the past 2 games. I mean, they lost a lot of lanes for the past 2 games, and Tornado was just able to, put the game into a back and forth situation for above all. And now with Alpha here in this game, 5-8, he has just picked up the Malefic Roar, by the way. So one ultimate here from Alpha should be able to delete the Leslier or the marksman here of Tornado Esports.
Oh, that's not good news. That's not good news. And I mean, I don't even think they need the ultimate to kill the marksman. We saw what happened last time. What they need that, though, is to try to kill somebody like Zizo. If they could take down this X-Borg, they get a free tower. And that tower top looks pretty low here. So what can you do? You have been able to really zone out these players. We're still seeing just a lot of fear. So much space given. And yeah, that's going to be a free top. And that might lead into a free mid. They're going in with the Lord, though. Not splitting off this time. They're going full stacking.
Wow.
They could end the game if they need to. And that's going to be Jokey one-hitting.
They're still at it.
Oh, my God. Alpha, he's caught out, though. He's pushed right back in. And we're seeing the real cleanup from Zoda. 1, 2, might find a third. But instead, they're just going to try to end the game right from under their noses. Triple kill. It ends the game.
I was wondering what Maru was doing there. It was actually to buy so much time for Zizo, or sorry, for Soda to actually take down the back lines, getting in that decimate in that last moment. He had the immortality, so it just gave him so much confidence to dive in. And with the Lord here for the side of above all, they can be able to push it. Yeah, they can actually take down the turret, and yeah, it was game over for above all. Was such a fast game. I think this was one of the fastest that we had for today.
That was a quick game. That really showcased what momentum can do, and the fact that if you're at the top of the mountain, if you're above everybody and you drop a snowball, you will form an avalanche and just completely cascade over these guys. So great job from above all. At the start, we didn't really know what we were expecting from them, and then we realized it was the Occupy team roster, and they occupied our hearts and our minds as the final score 2-1. Rest in peace, Tornado, for this qualifier. But that doesn't mean that we are done for the day. We have more coming up next. Hopefully, we're going to see something nice from these guys. But any final thoughts about that first match of the day here, Kim?
Yeah, I'm just wondering why above all actually waited for the last game. I maybe save the best for last, but they waited for the third game to actually bring out Alpha. Maybe it's not to let the other team decipher what they want. I mean, having Alpha here just made above all take in the series. And Tornado, actually, I'm pleasantly surprised that they were able to go up against an MPL team, or at least half an MPL roster here for above all. I mean, being able to go up against these pro players, I'm not so sure who these Tornado players are, but they're actually pretty good. Being able to go alongside or play alongside above all, and giving or stretching this out to a game number 3 is pretty much a feat for them.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that. They had what it took to push them forward, and you got to make a name for yourself here, especially when these are some of the best teams in the MENA region. They have really proven themselves here, and I think getting one round on, that's something that they can put on the fridge. All right, that's something that they could be a little bit celebratory of. But looking at that being our game, I know that we have to wait for our highlights here, which should be right now. Perfect timing and perfect gameplay from above all here.
Yeah, that's super. I guess this is probably one of the cleanest games that we've seen. We've seen a couple of clapbacks here from Tornado Esports. A bit of overzealousness coming out from above all at times, but they still managed to pull it through. What really worked well here for above all is that they actually shifted their rotation towards the XP lane, and after that, it was so much more easy for Venox. Even though he was able to shine in this game, Alpha and the rest of the team, even Maro as well on this Guinevere, was able to shine really well in this game. I think we reached like 20 plus kills by the end of this game, and it was overall a good game for Above All. I love the clapbacks from Tornado Esports, but it just was not enough. I mean, having a huge lead here for Above All, it's gonna be hard to bounce back. I mean, there were times that there were openings, but Above All was ready to take this in, and having Alpha there was, I think, it's a really big factor for Above All in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, the gameplay went above my head, but they were so clean with it. The fact that they were so hell-bent on just ending the game, they got that was one Lord, and the game was, if I can recall that was insanely quick. So great zoning, great skilling, and I mean, our highlights feel like the entire game. I mean, that was so fast. A 12-minute game, 13-minute game technically. So I don't think we're going to be seeing another one like that today, unless there is. I mean, actually, wait, no, we do have another team that is. Yeah, we have another. No, I'm saying I don't think that the next match that we have coming up is going to be nearly as fast as that game right there.
Yeah, we'll just have to find out. It's gonna be happening, yeah, right after this series. So I think it's gonna be Okami and Friends, and let me pull up the other one. That should be Exodios. Yeah, Exodios and Okami and Friends for the next match. So still a best out of 3 series, but yeah, closing out this last series for the day. Looking at the stats here, everyone is a gold medalist for this game. So yeah, no one's a silver medal. Pretty much, it really sums up the entire game. Everyone was just pretty much activated for Above All, as compared to the past 2 games we're in. I'm not saying there's a weakest link, but this roster of Above All, having Alpha there just really made Above All win that XP lane. And looking at Mahmoud's stats here, I mean, 252, and he's the only bronze medalist for Tornado. It just kind of says a lot about the rotation of Above All. Being able to shut down Mahmoud and respecting Mahmoud as well on his lane was actually one of the keys to victory here for Above All. And having Alpha there being extra aggressive in the early game, it just made it so much easy here for Above All to actually be able to make the plays that they want for this game. 24-12, but still I would say Tornado had a lot of good at least like counter punish here up against Above All.
Yeah, and going back to that that hero draft that we saw from these guys, I will say, when they were doing their picks and bans, I did say that you need to shut down Mahmoud, and instead of finding out that she was going to pick, he just straight up said, I'm going to counter pick it. I'm going to read this player, like I'm going to flip to and close the, and that's exactly what they did. So beautiful job. Now, I do want to say yet again, thank you to our broadcast partner, Playtonia, and our strategic partner, AD Gaming. Also, Arena Esports is powered by. So if you are a fan here, make sure to check out some of our partners or just follow Arena Esports themselves. Thanks again. We'll be right back with a break. So hopefully we see you in match number 2 with even better gameplay than that one.
Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! Let's do this, Abu Dhabi! Let's do this 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 Abu Dhabi! Abu Dhabi!
Welcome back. It's just me once again. Yeah, it's gonna be me and you guys once again. So I'm gonna be reading your comment section, the comment section actually on the live stream. So yeah, welcome back to Arena Esports MLBB. This is gonna be the Invitational Qualifiers Q3. We're still gonna have a Q4. So if you guys are interested to join, check out Arena Esports. That's arenaesports.ae for more information about the tournament, about the qualifiers. So if you guys missed out last week, if you guys didn't make it last week, feel free to join us again in Q4. So now we're going to the second series of the day, and we just finished the first match or the first series of the day, a best out of three, and above all was able to win the series with a 2-1 up against Tornado Esports. Again, if you guys know these players or if they're actually playing with another IGN, let me know as well. It's really interesting because some of these players, like players from above all, they actually use their original account. So I know that these are players from Team Occupy that actually formed another roster to play here in Arena Esports. I'm not so sure if there are direct rules about that. If you're playing in MPL, you can't play here, but I'm pretty sure you can. Arena Esports, powered by Etisalat. Thank you so much to our strategic partner as well, and our broadcast partner, Playtonia and 8 Gaming. So yeah, it wouldn't be possible without you guys. Welcome back to series number 2. And earlier we've seen actually a push and pull between the two squads, Tornado Esports and above all. It was pretty even. I'm actually pretty surprised that Tornado esports was actually able to keep up with above all, knowing that at least 3 members of above all was actually professional players. So looking at Exodios, I'm not so sure again if these are professional players playing under Exodios, or is this like a completely new roster, maybe some rank game friends that decided to join Arena Esports. I mean, you guys are pretty much welcome to join us here if you guys think that you guys have the you guys are pretty strong enough to go up against these players, then go ahead and join us. We still have in the last invitational qualifiers that will be happening in a few weeks. Right now, we're in the Q3, going into the monthly. Let me double check that. The monthly finals, actually. So we'll find out later on who will be able to make it that far. And then after the monthly finals, we're going to be having our playoffs as well. The top 8 teams will be playing there. And of course, we're going to be having a land grand finals. So if you guys are in the vicinity, we're going to be releasing more information about that sooner or later. But stay tuned on Arena Esports' social media pages for more information about the LAN event. So that's going to be the top 2 teams that will be playing in the grand finals. And I've already seen a lot of these teams play out in the monthly finals. And I'm not so sure. It seems like everyone is pretty much qualified for the grand finals. But hopefully, I'll see you guys there. Hopefully, we'll see you guys there. If not, please be sure to join us in all of the action here in Arena Esports as we head over to our first game of our last series for today. And again, if you are pretty new to Mobile Legends, these are pretty much standard bans that are coming out in the ranked games. You've seen these heroes being played in the last series. So, namely, we haven't seen the Fanny, but it's I believe this is a respect ban coming out of the blue side. So Fanny, Joy, Nolan, Guinevere, these are pretty much S tier heroes in terms of the meta. So these are just power picks right now, and I feel like these heroes are shouldn't be let go of, or like let the other team pick up these heroes because they're too good right now in the current patch. If I'm not mistaken, the Matilda should also be banned away. I think that the hero is completely OP right now because of the flash of the Oasis. The 1-1 was actually banned away last game, but no one actually ever picked it up. I haven't seen any a team pick up the 1-1 just yet ever since the buff that it has received in the last patch. So looking at this is okay. This is, yes, Okami and friends. So I'm not so sure. Okay, so this is the roster from Okami from the last MPL. So I believe it's the same case as above all. They're filling out 3 MPL players. The rest, I'm pretty sure either they're also top global players, if I'm not mistaken. So looking at the first pick here, Matilda has been banned away, like what I mentioned. Guinevere is also out. So Angela, or some teams actually start out with the Valentina. But you know what? You can be so bold and pick up the Arlot instead. This is also a flex pick coming out from the blue team, knowing that this yeah, you've seen the Arlot actually being flexed as the roamer in the last game. So this can actually be the same case here for Okami friends here on the blue side. They actually picked a very good power pick here, very flexible as well. And looking at the side here of Exodios, this is actually also, these two are, yeah, flex picks as well. Like both the Martis and the Fredrin, these are just pretty flexible picks. Like both Martis and Fredrin can be flexed on the XP, can be the jungle troll. I believe they're going to adjust on what the side of Okami and friends will be picking up in the second round. So yeah, the Martis is a great pickup. It's also a deny pick as well for the side of Okami and friends. It's a really good jungler. It's great for snowballing as well. You've seen it earlier with Soda, and now they pick it up. So this is just two power picks coming out from the side of yeah, from the side of Exodius. And now looking at the side here of Okami and friends, they actually picked up the Yuzong here. That was so good in the last game under the hands of Mahmood, but unfortunately it didn't close out the way they wanted it to. And now the Yuzong here, it's just so great for zoning the back lines. And I think for Okami and friends, this just kind of confirms the fact that this Arlot will go to the roam position. So it seems like this is the standard case right now. It seems to be a meta in this region. So again, it could be different. I mean, this was used once here in the Philippines, rocking it in the roam position. I believe that was Echo Philippines that actually rocked it. The M4 world champions that rocked this Arlot in the roam position. It wasn't as effective in that game, but you know, it's a great amount of CC, and I think it just pretty much provides the team with that pretty much like the ultimate of the Atlas and the Kufra. So I guess this is why the Arlot is being picked up first. I did point out the Angela was open earlier, so I guess the teams here, yeah, namely Team Okami and Occupy, actually want to go for CC instead of the support type of heroes, which is actually a refreshing change here for the meta, because for the longest time, guys, if you've been watching the open qualifiers back in Q1 and Q2, the Matildas and the Angelas were just everywhere. It was always banned or picked up. So I like the shift of tempo that we're having here in the second series or in the second game. So yeah. Angela, Matilda, I think they should start banning away gold laners here.
Come on, Dexter.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
our
they're right on
showtime.
cue. Because they've been banning away a lot of the roam position, and with the Arlot there, it just doesn't make sense to ban away the Matilda and the Angela at that. So I guess it's just a waste of ban here. But you know, that's the thing about the Arlot. You just don't know where it's gonna go, and it's just the team is just playing mind games with you at this point. Adding this Farsa up to the lineup here of Exodius, this is just a great amount of AoE for their side. If they do pick up the Farsa, not so sure. Okay, okay. I think they're considering the fact that there's a Valentina on the other side. So I guess the Valir would be a good hero to nullify the ultimate here of the Valentina. So if they pick up this Valir, I think it's a good pick. It's pretty annoying too when it comes to the slows and the snares it provides the entire team. But yeah, this is gonna be hard for the Valir. And I would say the Popol and Koopa as well. The Lancelot that I did mention in the last series or in the first series, that why didn't why didn't the Tornado Esports actually pick it up? It's actually a very good pick. Good for assassinating the backlines. Very mobile as well. So yeah, Lancelot often overlooked. It's one of the heroes that can also build the hybrid build when it comes to yeah, its role. It's very flexible, and I guess that's why it's also one of the top pick heroes right now, both in ranked game and professional play. Now for the side here of Exodius, they still do need a roamer, and yeah, either or. You go with the Rafa. I guess with the lineup here of the side of Exodius, I guess the Rafaela would make so much more sense. But you know, if you want global heal, if you want heal anytime, anywhere, in any part of the map rather, you can just pick up the Florine. It just provides global heal. So I guess, you know, Florine hasn't been picked up ever since its adjustments, its nerf, but it's pretty good in the current setup. Like I mean, Rafaela or they go with the Florine, I guess it would have still worked out well here for Exodius. But I like their draft here. They got a healer
And this was something that we didn't see in the last game. We didn't see any healers at all. We saw more of like sitter tanks in the last game, a lot of bursts, but this time having the Florine here would also give advantage here to Okami and friends. That's exactly what the Valentina does. It just so good. Even though it was released 2 years back, it is still pretty much very relevant in the professional scene because of the IMU or its ultimate. It can just pick up any ultimate here, and even the skins, you can actually pick it up. Yeah, looking at the draft here, it's Okami and friends as well as Exodios here for our first match of the second series. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary here except for maybe the Martis. That's not something I expected, but I guess it was a deny pick coming out from the side of Exodios. I mean, they were actually waiting for the side of Okami friends to pick up their jungler, and they just denied it. The Martis, what's really good about it, it's a power pick. It in the roam position, you can flex it in the XP lane. It's still pretty good. This is exactly why you want to prioritize this hero. And with the current patch, I believe that the teams here actually made their adjustments as well when it comes to the roam role, the roam hero that they picked up. And looking at Okami and friends in the Exodius, the yeah Najib actually went for the red first, as compared to the Lancelot. Hydra will actually definitely go for the blue. Wow, what happened on the top side? Ronnie was actually shred to 1 HP. Fortunately enough, he survived that onslaught on the top lane. So Yunat actually rotated towards the top lane instead of the gold lane because that's the usual rotation of a mid laner. And now we see starting to engage here for the side of Okami and friends. They don't have the ultimates just yet, but this is a good start for them. Retribution has been missed by Najib, and now Super Shifu not gonna evade that dash coming in from Hydra. And this is exactly what's really scary for squishy heroes like Florian, even Pain X here on this Valir. You can get assassinated by the Lancelot. And I'm not so sure if Hydra's going to build this to be... I mean, at this point, the Lancelot is just so unfair to have this in the playing field because it can be a hybrid build, it can be an all-out damage build. And the only way to counter out the Lancelot is either I've only seen like a Phobius, Kupra. These are really direct counters towards the Lancelot. But so far, Okami friends, they started out really well, able to pick off 2 members, have a 6k gold lead, 2k gold lead in the 2-minute mark. So that is at least 1,000 gold lead per minute here for Okami and friends. And here comes the first turtle. And with the great start that Okami and friends have here in this first series, this should at least give them some advantage towards the turtle. You can see as well Senzi already going here to zone out. Super Shifu once again finds himself another death as Najib hasn't even reached that level 4, while Hydra already on level 5 picks up the turtle, and Okami and friends off to a great start here. Hydra even going towards the jungle camps here for Exodius to actually take away the farm here of Najib. This is not good for Exodius. They have been occupied here by Okami and friends, and a lot of their resources have been taken away. They've also gotten the first turtle here for Okami, so I think the best that Senzi is doing here right now is just to cut down the lanes as Ronnie is forced to go back. I mean, at least all of the members here is a level ahead of Exodius, so all across the board they're winning here for the side of Okami and friends. I mean, when was the last time I've seen an Irritel? Last patch, it was nerfed, and I think right now it's still pretty viable. But you know what? Eyes on me right now on this gold lane with how aggressive Okami and friends are right now. They should be able to give the Irritel here some advantage up against the Kloppo and Koopa that you've seen in the last game that can really push the turrets so far ahead here for their side. 4 kills for Okami, and there's still no clapback here for Exodius. It's gonna be hard. They're picking up kills one by one here. They're winning in the lanes here as well. So Exodius, they have their answer here. They have their ultimates as well here, but the problem is Okami already has gotten in the turtle. They're looking to get the second one here as well. A lot of the gold platings have been taken here already by the Irritel. Eyes on me. And if I'm not mistaken, he is also at least a level ahead of the Popple and Koopa. So this is like really good for Okami and friends. This is probably 4K gold lead for their side, and if they get this next turtle, it should be at least a 6K gold lead for Okami and friends. They haven't pushed any towers though, but they've given Eyes on Me so much advantage here in the early game, and now Senzi as well doing Mamu things over here on the top side. 3v1 situation, make that 4v1 situation up against Senzi. But you know what? This isn't the hero that you wanna, do a 4v1 situation. The Yuzong can definitely outplay you. The ultimate has been used here by Super Shifu, and that's gonna at least give an advantage here for Computer, sustain him a little bit more. But even under their own turret, I think Eyes on Me is gonna be jumping in on Computer, and he's not gonna be able to escape that one. Yeah, Exodios hasn't been able to pick up a kill yet. Yunnan here, 201 on the Valentina. We haven't even seen any combo of the Valentina yet, right? He's only been popping in the first and second skill, and it's enough to actually dish out the damage. First turret has been taken down. Also a kill being picked up here by Eyes on Me. And now they should at least be able to take the second tier. Senzi as well doing a 1v1 situation here with Ronnie. I guess they should at least give... Yeah, Senzi should have a bit of advantage there, having that Sha S. It's having that passive up. Giving that Yuzong as well the laning advantage. He also has the Petrify in case that didn't work out for him. There's a lot of pressure here for Okami and friends. And I think at this point, right, it's so hard to bounce back from this lead that Okami has 5 minutes in. I mean, by that time they at least get clapbacks here, Eyes on Me should at least have maybe like a core item. And now he's in trouble. 3 members ganking up on him. He does have to sprint here to go away. Hydra here as well, dashing in and out. Computer on the backside. That has been taken down, and Pain here as well. 1 HP left, and Bryce Criminal gonna be the ones to finish the job. Bryce Criminal, by the way, is the... Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, this is the same guy who played in Okami when they were the first runner-ups of MPL last season, and now they're looking to recreate that championship form once again by at least taking in this invitational Q3, and they're looking so good, right? 12 kills here. I mean, this is already snowball, fireball, I would say, for Okami friends in this game. How could Exodios at least clap back here? It's really hard. Computer already has like 4 deaths here at this point, and I'm not so sure if they are going to be able to do anything at this point, because Eyes on Me, Hydra, every single lane here has been taken in by Okami friends, and without any turtles here to take, this is just too... Exodius is just too far behind here. Level 7 for Najib here on the Fredrin, while Hydra's level 4. That's what, like at least 5 levels ahead for the jungler. I mean, look at the roamer here, level 8. He's even a level higher than Najib. That's how far of a lead this is for the side of Okami and friends. It's massive, and at this point, I don't think they can do much about it. Not unless, they get a shutdown on at least Yunnan or Hydra here. This should at least give them some shutdown gold. But you know what? Exodius, 17k. That's a 10k gold lead, 7-minute mark here for Okami friends. Just not gonna be easy to shut down anyone at this point. And by the time the marksman is up, I think Eyes on Me is already online at this point. It's gonna be hard for Exodius to bite back. Yeah, they've been giving away all the turtles, and this all started with the pick-off on Super Shifu in the start of the game. I don't think Okami and friends will go for the turtle, the last turtle. They're actually going to wait up for this lord. I'm not so sure if they're going to wait for the enhanced lord by the 12-minute mark, so yeah. Yeah, look at how... Yeah, this should be a damage Lancelot, because look at how fast he's shredding that lord. Like at least 1/4, right? And with Eyes on Me as well, this should be a fast take. Instead, Exodius gonna try to gank this top side. Senzi not gonna be the best one, but yeah, that's gonna give you some slight advantage there on the top side. You can buy some time. You can sustain, but against the power of 5, you're not gonna be as powerful enough. But here comes the cavalry here from the side of Okami and friends. They're gonna try to at least get some revenge here for Senzi, but you know what, Najib? Yep, he's all alone there. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah. He's had his backs on the wall, and now we see Super Shifu as well popping in that ultimate. Yep, Najib, you're gonna be able to sustain pops in the Appraiser strat. It's not gonna be as powerful as it was in the last patch. It was nerfed already, and still Okami and friends still on top. They got the Lord as well to boot on the bottom side, top side as well. Gonna be worked on by Eyes on Me. That should at least, yeah, the second tier should at least go down by this point. Yeah. Eyes on Me should be able to take that down, as well as the mid tower. They also got the lore that Exodios hasn't taken down just yet. Yuna also picked up the heal here of the Florine. So yeah, this is the signal for Okami friends to actually just dive in, and they can pop in that ultimate. Right on cue, they pop it in. And now they're going to work on this first tier, or in the inhibitor tower here on the bottom side. And that's going to be Okami and friends picking it up. Ronnie as well. Super low there. Not enough to take him down just yet. Petrify comes through here for Phoenix. And it's not going to be able to do anything. That Jim going to be soaking up the damage. Super Shifu next on the fall. The Lord's locking in the base here. It's going to be a wipeout for the side of Exodios as Okami friends take game number 1. Woo! What a game! I would have to say this is a one-sided game for the side of Okami friends. A very easy game number 1, and it all started with the rotations that they did in the mid lane earlier, picking off 2 members, instantly giving kills to Hydra, and being able to secure in all of the major objectives in the first half of the game. Just gave them so much advantage. And what really didn't work out well for Exodius is that they weren't able to get any of those shutdown goals, which is really what made it even more harder for them to get in the take back, rather, the goal lead from Okami friends. So now this is just game number 1. We're going to be going into game number 2, but I believe we have one more member here of the broadcast. Nope, it's not Edu. It's gonna be Shake. Did I say that right? Shaky TV. Are you here?
Yes, you have.
Okay, here.
How's it?
All
Good
right,
evening.
welcome.
How's it?
Yeah, the first game's over. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. You know, I was basically just waiting and just watching the game when I joined in, and what an interesting game it was indeed. I do like seeing, teams compete at this high level. Okami and friends, from what I saw, I don't know if I'm right in saying this, Burger, but they looked quite dominant in that game.
Yeah, well, more than dominant. I mean, that was like a 1 kill from the other team. Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
dear.
this is. I was talking to Darkter, everyone in the production team, and even the other casters from the other stream, and we were talking about how this match would end. And I did say that it might end in a 2-0, just because I've seen Okami friends play in a professional stage, and I don't really have I don't have that much information about Exodius, so I have to be fair here. So I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They still can bounce back in the second game, but yeah, it should be match point for Okami friends in the next game.
Amazing. No, first off, I just want to say it's awesome to be in. It's crazy just to be able to be in the scene. I come from a Dota background, so it's I always say
Awesome.
if I'm correct, Bergen can say, is this mobile, right? This is
Yeah,
a
this is
mobile
mobile.
equivalent, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I mean,
crazy.
I'm not sure if like which part of the world are you from, because I asked my co-caster earlier. He's from the United States. I'm from the Philippines, so I want to know where you're from.
I'm from the
I'm guessing
UK.
I knew it. Like I knew it from the accent. I would love to visit UK someday. But you know what? Yeah, it's mobile MOBA, and it's pretty big
That's
here in
insane.
Asia. I'm not so sure if it's big in your part of the world. So I don't know. It's crazy, right? Like people being able to play in their mobile phones at this level.
That yeah, again, I want to add on to that. It's amazing to see this type of plays, and if I look at the pure, all I can look at it and admire is obviously just the mechanical skills that these players have, and looking at
Yeah.
it from that perspective, if I compare it to League of Legends or Dota, to be able to
Hmm.
use your kit that you have on each of these heroes to this extent, reaction timing and all that, while using a touchscreen device, it always blows my mind. I was casting the other day a little bit of PUBG Mobile for the first time as well,
Hmm.
and I get excited to see that people are actually using their mobiles to compete in esports, and it opens up so many avenues for people to express themselves. So it's really awesome just to be here and be able to enjoy this game with you. So I'd love for you to kind of think that I've never seen this before in my life, and I'm going to be asking a lot of questions going through this.
Yeah, feel free to ask me. I mean, here in the Philippines, it's huge. Okay, if I just have to point it out. Like the first time I read your IGN, this is actually a really big pizza chain in the Philippines. So I was like, did I read that right? Yeah, it's Shakey's. It's plural here in the Philippines. So it's a really big fast food chain. And I was like, are you also going for that type of IGN that it's food related or not? But yeah, we'll go to that later on as we check out our scoreboard here. So just to catch you up, it was a super dominant game. I mean, you can see it from the scoreboard. It's 19-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some clap back here from Exodios, but apparently not enough. They were able to take in a lot of the major objective here for Okami friends. At least like all of the major objectives they took in this game, and they were able to
Mm.
end it with one lord. And that was able to they were able to take down the crystal and eventually end the game. I'm not so sure how fast this game was. Probably like less than 15 minutes. So this is a really fast game.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was less than 15, and it's awesome to see how these teams have set this game up. I mean, I'm looking at the scoreboard right in front of me, and we've got one a team member from Okami Friends that actually died in that game. So I think it's all things to be fair that it was quite a dominant game. But obviously this is a best of three, so I'd love to see a little bit more of a clapback coming back from Exodius. Anyone will ever tell you I'm a sucker for a bit of an underdog story. You know, a little bit of a fairy tale event.
Yeah.
You never know
Me
what
too.
happens. Sometimes you get the underdogs coming out of nowhere and beating the game. It's happened millions of times. It's not impossible. So
Yeah,
would you
I
think
actually
that
love that
Exodius?
too.
Yes,
I
exactly.
hope
So would
so
you think
too.
Exodius needs to work on their draft, or where do you think they fell short?
I think their draft is pretty good. Maybe they just got too greedy with the meta picks. I mean that does happen. And, like if that hero is very popular, if that hero's completely OP in the current patch, they would definitely pick it up. They actually picked up really two really good power picks from the start. I just not so sure. They probably gave too much away to Okami friends. They just paid so much for the jungler here, Hydra, to be able to take in the objectives from the start, and that's where it really went down. It wasn't really in the draft. It was more of how they were able to be not as aggressive as the other team. So I guess maybe that's a factor. They should be equally as aggressive as the other team, but this was kind of expected. I did hype this up earlier that Okami Friends was actually a bit more higher tier when it comes to playing professionally, but maybe like the other side, I don't know. I don't really have that much information. But
Hmm.
the
I
from
mean,
the
yeah.
from Okami and Friends, there's definitely at least three of them are professional players.
Wow, that's just insane. That's awesome to see that talent come out, and I'm excited for the second game. Now, I'm gonna imagine that I am just a viewer watching this stream, and I've got a basic knowledge of this game. When it comes down to drafting, usually within a MOBA like this, you'd obviously have either one support, the jungler, a mid lane, and then two cores on top of that, or you'd have two supports, three cores. What's the general draft look like in this MOBA?
Yeah, I think with the current patch, like a lot of the players or a lot of the teams actually go for double support because it's completely OP right now. They released a new item. It's called Flask of the Oasis. So it really boosts your shields, boosts the heals of these support heroes. That's why it's always prioritized. Sometimes, even though there's not that much AOE, teams would still go for double support. So I don't know. That's a
Okay.
big thing here in the last qualifier. So I think for this particular game, what really changed was the draft here of Okami Friends. They actually went for a more aggressive draft, which is kind of understandable because they were going up against a really squishy lineup. And yeah,
Gaze
speaking of
upon
teams
the
here,
edge of the void.
it is going to be Exodius, yeah, Exodius on the blue side. So this time they have the priority pick, so they can pretty much ban out whatever they want here. They can pretty much prioritize all of the meta picks here because they're on the blue side. And for the side here of Okami Friends, they should perhaps take away a lot of the meta picks here. Joy, Guinevere, these are the top picks currently in the meta.
Amazing. Well, that's really insightful. I think I could lean a bit more towards. And I think you just said Guinevere, so that's amazing for you. That's a really good pickup on that. So it's interesting to see that even in this MOBA, even though the map looks very much similar to League, you still have that aspect of two supports, three cores. Now, going into this game, what do you think is going to be the lane that we can focus up probably the most in this meta?
I think pretty much all of the lanes. So it really depends on the performance. Say in the first series that I casted here today, the off lane or the XP lane was really very aggressive, and he was able to win the 1v1 trade. So what the teams did in the next game, when it reached to a game number 3, they actually pressured that lane so much. So it really doesn't matter as long as you win the lane, that should be good, right? But if you start at least getting in 2 deaths in that lane, you should at least keep your eyes peeled in that lane. And now we're starting to see the bans coming through here for both sides, so they're actually taking out a lot of power picks. Finally somebody took out that hero, because it's completely broken right now. I mean, even though it has been released back in 2021, it's still very OP as of this moment. If you play, okay, you play Dota 2, right?
Yes, I played Dota 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so the last hero that they banned here is like Rubik of Dota 2.
Oh.
So you can steal the ultimate. Yeah, something to that effect.
That is insane, and that
Yeah.
looks exactly like Pudge. Why does that look exactly like Pudge?
Maybe inspired. Probably inspired, right? I mean, that's
Okay,
that's the
inspired,
thing about
inspired.
yeah, inspired. So
Yeah,
yeah,
inspired.
looking at the draft here, yeah, everyone's still going for the meta picks. This is what happens, right? When you have like all these power picks, all of these meta heroes open, everyone's just gonna, especially for professional players, they really abuse the meta. Not unless they have other tricks up their sleeve, like maybe bring up a cheese rat here or there. But I like this from the side of Exodios. They actually picked up power pick themselves, the
I've been
Joy, that
waiting
actually
for
did
too
really well in the
long.
last series.
Very interesting, yeah, and I think from what I can understand is there's a lot of emphasis on making sure you can get a good amount of the meta picks out. I think like any single game, you have to
yeah.
probably focus on making sure that you can get those important picks, either picking them or banning out those very key points in the team. And obviously it comes down to the team's general, oh my word, where's my English tonight? The team's general just cohesiveness and how they play together. So I'm excited to see what these two teams are going to bring to the table. But looking at the draft right now, just off the bat, obviously we've got 23 picks out so far. Where's your mind going in terms of predictions?
Yeah, I was gonna go back to what you were saying earlier. I mean, that does happen if you cast a new title, and if you're still unfamiliar with the game, you're at a loss for words. And yeah, looking at the way the draft is going here, I have to point out the last pick here on the red side. They actually picked a Fanny, which is I mean, if they actually banned this away last game, respecting Okami friends. So now picking up this Fanny, just them saying we want to end this game early. I mean, this is an assassin. If
Okay.
it snowballs fast. So I think
Okay.
Okami friends just wants to seal the series and close out the day with a 2-0.
Very interesting, and I'm looking up. I'm just having a look at Fanny, and it seems to be quite the hero to go up against. So I'm really keen to see what they're going to bring to the table. Now,
Your team is picking.
No, last
Interesting.
man coming through as well. What I'm worried about here is that red side, Okami and friends, they're just gearing. Oh my god, yeah. Looking at the draft here, I don't think they have any way, or they don't really have any answers to the Fanny yet. So that's what I'm worried about. I guess the Akai would be an answer here to the Fanny, but other than that, looking at the draft here of Exodius, they're just looking to at least stretch this game out to the late game. But having the Fanny here for Okami friends, this is actually them saying that, yeah, okay, we'll just give the game to you. But I guess if you pick up the Eudora and the Kaja here for the last two picks of Exodius, this should at least be some counter to the Fanny, but not enough just yet. But you know what? They should at least try their luck here on this Kaja, because this is the only other hero other than the Franco that can stop the fan here at this point. They still need the marksman, and
Give me a target.
yep, of course, they can pretty much go with whatever here. The fan is just gonna give the marksman so much advantage here in the early game. And here you have it, our draft here for our second game, match point for Okami friends.
and a very exciting game as well. I'm really excited to be able to cross with you today, Burger Kim. So do excuse my lack of knowledge, but I'll try and make it up
Don't
with a little bit of
worry.
charisma and a few jokes along the way, as best
You
as I
can
can.
definitely do that. I do that when I cast a new title. I just bring out my Riz there and make sure that, maybe at least I can say something interesting. Other than, I know I'm making up for my lack of game. That happened to me recently because I casted a new title. It's an FPS title. Not so sure if they have it here on Arena Esports, but it's a very new title. And when I came in, they needed an English caster. They needed someone who can cast in English, female. So I pretty much fit the bill. And then when I come in, I was like, guys, I only played 10 games or less than 10 games. So I don't have any game knowledge at all. So I completely understand where you're at right now.
The challenge. And I also want to just say quickly about you saying shaky. I casted with another caster from Asia the other day. We were casting PUBG Mobile, and you know what? He said exactly the same thing. He's like, "Oh, your name's Shaky? That is my favorite place to get pizza." So he's promised me he's going to send me a photo. Yes,
Yeah,
he was.
Oh, awesome. Maybe I know him. Like the casting scene is pretty tight here. So pretty much everyone knows each other. So maybe PUBG, I know like a few people there. Guy or girl?
I'm sure to remember his name. But a few little bit of action coming up mid there. There's a lot going on. The game the game has just started.
Yeah. Very standard for a Fanny here. You can see the confidence here from Okami friends. They're just popping in those recalls and even those stickers. That's how you know a team is very confident when it comes to their plays. A lot of pokes though from the side of Exodios, but now they're actually going all the way to the jungle camps here of Exodios. I don't think this is going to be good. Yep, Senzi's going to be able to get a hook onto Super Shifu, and that's actually what made Okami friends actually win the early game in game number 1.
Exciting stuff. And we've got Manny Pacquiao present in the game today as well.
Oh yes, I'm surprised you. I'm surprised you can actually recognize him. Is it the skin or is it because you looked it up?
No.
It's the skin.
It's the skin. When I saw it in the drafting phase, they were going through skins, and I recognized the face. And when they were in the loading screen, I was like, "Oh my word, it is Manny Pacquiao." That's so cool.
Oh my gosh, I
So
didn't
at
know
least
he was
something on
that
there.
big. Even in your side of the world, you actually know who he is. Yeah, he's really big.
No, such a good boxer. Yeah, I love him. It's insane.
I mean, he's an all-around guy right now. He's a politician. He's he's everything. I mean, he's doing a couple of esports tournaments as well. So I mean,
Oh,
I
wow.
would be surprised that he's a hero in this game. I mean, pretty much.
That is insane.
I think the time this hero was made, it got so much buzz because he was running a couple of campaigns back then. So a lot of people thought that the game was actually supporting him. But you know what? Yeah, they actually released him. He's a pretty big icon here, and yeah, even someone like you knows him. Yeah, it's kind of understandable why
definitely.
he's a hero.
Yeah, I can imagine. He's kind of following Arnold Schwarzenegger's steps in going into politics as well. But in the game so far, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of different things. Obviously, in the mid lane, there was a lot of contention that you guys in the early start, and it still seems that pretty much when it comes to MLBB, it looks like fighting is pretty much on the cards 24/7.
It feels like an all-out brawl. And now, speaking of that, nice hook coming out from Senzi, gets the Mystic Gush as well on that gourd. And now, okay, this is what's really interesting. They switched up their roles here for Okami friends in this last game. So they actually put the mid laner to the gold lane, then they put the gold laner to the mid lane. So I'm not so sure if this is gonna be any different for Okami and friends because their jungler is... Oh wait, their jungler is Rise! What are they doing here? I think they're just playing around here with the Exodios. I mean, with the huge amount of food that they got in the last game, they're looking to end this really fast. And now we see the suppression coming in, not enough to take down Rise. They get in the Mystic Gush, but here comes the Akai as well with the heavy spin from the back. Not able to take them out because they're really low though. Najib gonna be able to sustain his attack after all, and Hydra's gonna be staying there a little bit too long. They pick up the kill here, and that's gonna be Exodius. And yeah, there's another one as well. Snipe kill coming out from Paynex, but instantly gets punished there by Okami friends. Another clap back from this side, and they should actually give them the space to head over to this objective.
Yeah, and it looks unfortunately like Manny Pacquiao shouldn't really be in this game right now as he gets taken out there and a little bit of a buzz back and forth, but it does look like Okami and friends are still trying to hold on to this best they can. But a really good hook that they got underneath the tower and almost actually be able to kill off Noja. Wow, that was amazing to see.
Oh, Vengeance. Oh, wow, Sensi gets the tip of that Astral Echo as well.
And now we're seeing the snipe kills, and there comes Manny Pacquiao, Hydra, with that knock-up strike. Yeah, that's what you call the ultimate. And was able to get at least one member here of Exodios, and now this should give Okami friends the space to take at least the second turtle. They're actually struggling a little bit with the objectives here, so they haven't been able to take any of the towers. And even here on the bottom side, a lot of pressure is being done here by Exodios. They pick up the turtle here for Okami friends. Not that big of a lead as compared to what they had in game number 1.
And it seems like, considering you guys have said that the games are quite short, you're looking at about 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. From my understanding, we're probably towards the end of the first phase, with all the fighting and everything happening on. Everyone's probably already got their ultimate abilities. What can we start expecting these two teams to do next?
Yeah, 15k. Well, this is still not that big of a lead for Okami friends, so they shouldn't be that overconfident yet to at least say that okay, this game is theirs. I guess they should at least start pushing in the towers here. That's something that I don't see them doing. They've been getting the kills, but they haven't been converting it yet. And on the bottom side, we see the pick off once again. Computer. Yeah, 3 deaths already on this game. So we might see another one. There comes the ultimate snipe from Yunan, as well as the Mystic God flickers in to get the kill. A double for the marksman here on the bottom side. And now we see Rice as well. Wow, okay. Rice actually can play a Fanny. So this is quite surprising because I've seen this guy. He's only ever played one role. So I'm pretty surprised that he can rock this hero as well.
And it seems that they're doing quite the job on that hero indeed. And even bottom lane, a little bit of action happening as well.
Yeah, Computer once again getting in that hook. I'm not so sure if he can survive. Okay, Super Shifu here to save the day. Eyes on me as well, gets spotted out. Super Shifu, does he have the ultimate? Okay, doesn't have the ultimate to tug him in. But yeah, this is some space for Okami on the bottom side. And looking how this game is panning out, I was actually expecting a more faster-paced game here for Okami. Yeah, but Rice getting the cutthroat as well on the top side, being able to take down the Ronnie. So this is still pretty standard mid-game for both sides. And I like how this time Okami friends, they're not as dominant as they were in the first game, which is actually very surprising.
You know, it's wild that you say that because I'm looking at the game right now, 7 minutes in, 21k net worth for the Sons of Okami. And they, in my eyes, are looking like they're doing fantastically. 9 kills on the board, but obviously in this terms of this fast-paced game, you're saying that they could have done...
Yeah, here it comes once again. All-out brawl, and the suppression comes in for Ronnie as Yunan picks up the kill. But they have to watch out for the snipes coming out from that Novaria. It's starting to hurt right now, 7 minutes in. So this Novaria should have at least picked up the 3rd core item. So that should be at least some leverage when it comes to dishing out damage. And as you can see, right, it chunks down Eyes on Me, half HP. But you know what? It's not Eyes on Me. It's actually Eyes on Yunan. He's actually dishing out so much damage on this Leslie. He's left unchecked on this lane for so long. 4-0-2. And if this reaches the late game, it's still going to favor the side of Okami and friends.
Indeed. So I'm really enjoying to just be able to see all this stuff, like high-paced action happening right now. And it does look like a lot of these heroes have got the ability, the mobility on these heroes is absolutely insane. I mean, we're looking at Fanny, and she's just moving across the map like absolutely crazy.
I mean, at this point, right, just to give you an idea, Manny Pacquiao to the rescue under the turret. Ronnie's not going to be able to
Did Fanny
do that.
just release a soundtrack? What was that?
It was Ronnie. It was actually Ronnie. So it's pretty interesting because once he pops the ultimate, it's called Electrifying Beats. So it has this music as well. So yeah, I think this is just Okami and friends just playing with the draft here, knowing that they can actually win this thing. But you know what's really interesting is that, okay, so say for other MOBA titles, the games actually last like 40 minutes, right? But this is already a really... I mean, I don't know if other MOBAs have this fast pace of a game. Like 9 minutes in, you're already getting at least tier 2. I don't know if it's the same case for the MOBA games you played.
Or probably if you play Turbo in Dota, that's it. And that's a game mode specifically made to be quicker. Where you get double the XP, double the money. But that's pretty much it. Not competitively, no. So quite the sight to see and really enjoying this in actual fact. Okami and friends is playing amazing right now.
they're just playing around with the draft, even with their composition. But wow, the Vengeance actually pushed out a lot of damage, and that's gonna be a double kill picked up by Eyes on Me. Look at the turrets here of Okami friends. This is pretty much good to go for the next game, if we do have a next game. Although I think, okay, to be fair, I think they can still bounce back from this one. 5k lead. At least it's not a 10k lead for Exodios, right? If it's 10k, you can pretty much safely say that you have this under the bag. But it's not yet 10k. So Exodios, one shutdown can actually change the tides in this game.
You know, I quite like that, the way that you think about it. So you have to look at the glass half full, not half empty. And it's always an opportunity for Exodios to push back. So I would like to see maybe a little bit of turnaround. And it does look like the aggression's still there and they haven't given up on anything just yet.
Yeah, speaking of that glass, I'm actually curious. Are you more of a half empty or half full kind of guy?
I am half full. I'm a South African, but I come from South Africa, living in the
Optimistic.
UK. So yeah, we are a very optimistic country.
I think it's different for our side of the world. I'd say it's like half empty. but you know what? I think that Exodios you just can't count them out right now. I mean, you see the way that they're fighting back up against Okami, and now the major objective could be worked on here by both sides, and that is gonna be Okami friends gonna miss out on that major objective, but instead they're gonna go for the kills here. Rice Criminal going wild here, going ham on the players here of Exodios. Now one more player left, and that's gonna be four members down here for the side of Exodios for the price of a lord. I guess they were willing to let it go. I mean, it's not even the enhanced one yet, so I mean they have a huge lead, at least like this time I think 6k, so it should at least be enough for them to shut down. It's not even the enhanced lord, so this should be okay. Okay, I think Yuna should be able to pick up the skill. Yep, even going under the tower. Hook comes in here for Senzi too. It's just an all-out brawl here as Eyes on Me gonna be popping in that ultimate, taking another one down. This is just too much for Exodios at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really... their domination around the map has been quite intense. They've seemed to have been everywhere and at one place exactly the same time, constantly looking for these fights. I mean, Exodios is trying to push back, and I think they only really got that kill because that guy was falling a bit low. But Okami's been doing what I've seen in front of me, doing a really great job at keeping pressure basically in all three lanes at exactly the same time.
Yeah, almost like man, I can't do math. This is exactly why I cast 32k, 39. This should at least be
7k lead?
7k lead. Yeah, you know, okay, I casted with someone who's actually a math major last time, and he actually corrected me. I was like, okay, he's for the record, he was Asian, so he's like, yeah, he gave me the exact number. But now, speaking of exact, that was a precise kill by Super Shifu. Hydra as well going in. Ronnie gonna be worked on there by Super Senzi. Not gonna be enough to take him down. Rice Criminal as well. Eyes on Me misses the ultimate there. Goes the other direction. A lot of blunders there from Okami friends. They're actually gonna reset towards this one. They should buy some time for Exodios to push at least the first tier towers here. Rice Criminal goes back. Okay. This just feels like all-out brawl here for the side of Okami and friends. I mean, when you see someone up, you're just gonna try to initiate a team fight. But yeah, Exodios not out yet. They have at least some advantage if they can get the shutdown on at least Eyes on. If they do get that, they can at least bounce back from the situation. But so far, it's just not looking good because Okami friends, yeah, Eyes on You hasn't been shut down just yet. Senzi, Ronnie trying to go for the back lines and gonna get taken down there by Okami friends. 28 kills for the squad as compared to Exodios that just picked up 2. And I think this time they're just playing around with what they're doing right now with their playstyle, because yeah, 8 kills, man, it's gonna be hard for Exodios right now. It's only the inhibitors left. Oh wait, sorry, inhibitors, then a second tier. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. No, it's looking to be quite an interesting game. In fact, I mean, I you know what? Honestly, for a second there, I thought Exodios was going to bring it back. It was like a split second where they really had a lot of domination going into that fight, But Fanny, I see why you were quite shocked with Fanny pickup and why you were quite excited for that pick, because the mobility of that hero is just insane. Constantly being in and out the fight with those I don't know what do you call that ability when they jump between with those hooks on the terrain.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, the Vengeance was able to get the Fanny up, so that should at least be some advantage. And yeah, I don't know if you watch a lot of anime, but if you're familiar with Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titans, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
what I'm
okay.
thinking about.
Yeah, so I think there's an upcoming skin. Just I think it was released. I'm not so sure if it was announced yet, but there's gonna be a skin where Mikasa is gonna be Fanny. So
Oh
it's
my word.
it's like that. So it's great. Everyone's really excited. The community is excited about it. Yeah. The Fanny is just so mobile, and I think the only problem with the Fanny here for the side of Okami is that Exodios does not really have the answer to a Fanny except for Super Chifu gear. That pretty
Yeah,
much hasn't popped in the ultimate to at least suppress the Fanny.
and I'm assuming that the answer what they need is a proper lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah. On the Fanny.
Interesting.
Specifically the Fanny.
Yeah, like single targeted lockdown to try and get it to stay still for a second while they bash her.
Oh man, yeah. Even the tankiest hero gets shredded apart there by Leslie. Bottom side, 1v1 with the Manny Pacquiao on the bottom side. I don't think that's gonna be easy though, Ronnie. And now we see Super Shifu as well with some attempts. Paynex not gonna be able to evade the snipes here from the Leslie. I think this should be enough for Okami friends to end this thing. They got the Leslie, they got the minions. Not unless they want to be disciplined and take the Lord, but you know what? I think they want to end this right here, right now, because this is numbers advantage. 4 members down here. They're locking in the tower here for Yuran, and this should be game over. Yep, that's gonna be a sweep for Okami friends. They take in the series.
Amazing. What a game. You know, that was such a quick game, but so much happened throughout the entire process of that. I mean, we were in for only just over 15 minutes. But it looks like Okami and friends, Kim, just like you mentioned earlier before, the domination was just there and they played the game so well.
Yeah, I love how the introduction to mobile was like this for you. This is how fast it can get. And I think, yeah, maybe you should, try it out later. I mean, if you want to play a quick MOBA game, this is the MOBA game to go to. I mean, you can end the game as fast as 10 minutes. The longest game I've ever seen here was probably um 25 minutes, 30 minutes
Wow.
max, but never more than 30 minutes. So that's like
Wow.
less than one normal game in other titles in Dota or maybe even in LoL. So
Yes.
so yeah, it's like that. If you want a quick game, you got a break after work, or you're bored before bed, you can play this game. You can finish it in like 10 minutes or less.
You shouldn't be just a caster. You should be a sell representative for this game because you're just selling this game off to me. Maybe I should give it a try after this.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to if you don't have that much time, or you're not in front of your PC, this is the best game to go to. And yeah, Okami friends and Exodios just gave you a glimpse of Mobile Legends. So to welcome to the community. I hope I get to see you in the future, and I hope you enjoyed your first MLBB game.
No, I definitely did. And thank you so much for the kind introduction, Kim. You've done a great job at explaining this as best as you can. And even from just the explanations and the way that you were casting, I was able to just completely understand what was going on as a caster. So I can't imagine how the viewers were able to enjoy that casting that you gave today for those games.
Yeah, I think the other casters from the Urdu cast is actually commending me. Oh, I actually jinxed it earlier. I said it's going to be a 2-0. I was pretty confident because I already saw the name. So yeah, I always jinx stuff. So yeah, but you know what?
Caster's
Thank you
curse.
so much. Yeah, caster curse. It always happens to me. Like my favorite team never wins, so I don't want to root for my favorite team because they always lose when I predict them in my caster's prediction. But yeah, you know what? Thank you so much, Shaky, for being here with me today. Because if not, I would have been at least talking to the people on the live stream. Because that actually happened to me my last cast. It was pretty fun. I was talking to the audience. I actually got to see how they were finding the game. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed your first MLBB game. Hope you get to download the
did.
game. Yeah, and let me know how you find it. You can just message me here on Discord and let me know how you find the game actually from another MOBA's perspective. But let's take a look at the highlights here. I guess this wasn't as one-sided as game number one, or yeah, the first game of the series. It was just I guess for Okami friends, they were willing to have an all-out brawl in the mid lane, and it was I guess it was a very huge lead here. I didn't notice who took the first objective of the game. I think it was Okami friends. And eventually, there were. I do have to commend Exodios here, though. They did have some clapbacks. They did have some shutdowns, but ultimately, the Gord here of Eyes on Me was unstoppable. I can't believe this guy was playing on the gold lane earlier. He can be as dominant as he can here in the mid lane as well. So I think it's
Mm.
an overall good series here for Okami friends. But Exodius, there's still Q4 here for the monthly invitationals or the weekly invitationals. So you guys can still join next week. But yeah, props to you guys for actually um, yeah, making it this far, because it's not easy to go up against the top teams here, because so far we've seen a lot of the top teams play out here in the invitational qualifier. So props to
Mm.
Exodius for actually making it this far.
Oh no, definitely. I also think that it's amazing. I quite like the fact when teams that aren't as established as professional or people that have teams that have professional players like Okami and friends, when teams like Exodius come and compete up against teams like this, it's not really an opportunity where like, oh, we lost. You've actually
Mhm.
won so much in terms of like learning. Like there's so much learning that happens when you're playing up against big teams like this. So I do know Exodius is probably going to walk away from this going, you know what? We can take a lot away from that game.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you can rewind. You guys can, check out what happened there. Maybe take tips from your opponents and actually, bring that strategy next time. But let's take a look at the scoreboard here for the last game, 35-9. I think this is pretty much a statement by Okami and friends. I guess their experience as well, because at least three of these players were actually playing in the professional league in the MENA region. So it just gives them so much experience overall. And it was able to translate into Hydra and Eyes on Me. As for Exodius, I don't know how long this squad has been playing, but the synergy was there. Definitely, the synergy was there. I guess it was more of the overall macro and micro gameplay that they need to improve on. But, going head to head with Okami, being able to at least score 9 points and being able to at least reach this point of the invitationals is actually pretty good. So hope to see you guys maybe in Q4. You guys can still sign up, and if you guys are watching right now, if you guys want to be a part of Arena Esports, you guys can actually check out our website arenaesports.ae for more information on how you guys can join the tournament. And again, this is powered by Etisalat, our strategic partner and broadcast partner as well. Thank you so much for making this possible for all of our players. But there you have it, Shaky, an overall glimpse of what happened here today. And I guess you got all of the action here because it was a pretty even game in the first series. This was pretty much all action packed. So you got to see all of the good stuff here.
No, I definitely did. Like I said, I popped in just for that first game, just halfway through, just to be able to see what was going on, and it was at that point. Obviously, the snowball had started rolling. To be able to see that game start from the beginning, there was a lot that happened. Obviously, Exodus tried to hold on to that little bit of mot- momentum that they had,
Mhm.
but I don't think they were able to go up against us. But like I said, I think this is a great opportunity to learn from this game. And obviously, Ukami and friends are going to walk away from this quite happy.
Yeah. And I think this is it. The first sweep that we have for today. And it's all takes the shaky caster's curse, or maybe like caster's blessing this time. That we ended in a 2-0, because so far, the last time I casted, when I was all alone, when I casted with another co-caster, it all ended, like all of our BO3s ended in 3 games. Like we covered the entire BO3. So the teams played 3 games straight. So when you came in, we actually had the first sweep for the longest time. So yeah, I think you were our lucky charm here today. Thank you for coming in, and you guys will be seeing the overall roadmap. So we're already in Q3, by the way. If you guys are not yet updated, Q3, and then we're gonna be having Q4 shortly. But we're gonna be having our monthly finals as well here. So stay tuned for that. I believe it's gonna be happening later this month or maybe on December. So stay tuned for more updates on our social media platforms. But yeah, I want to ask you, Shiggy, how did you find the game? Were you mesmerized by how fast it went, or yeah, how'd you find it so far?
I think that's an amazing question. Yes, I think the game was interesting to look at it from the perspective that I come from. Obviously, games go quite long in Dota and League and MOBA games like that. Even I play a little bit of Smite every now and then as well. But I do like the fact that it's a bit more short paced. I think when it comes to mobile games, it's difficult to get someone to sit on their phone for 40 minutes to try and focus on a game. So it's nice having it go a bit longer, a bit shorter. But the roadmap looks pretty good, Kim. Well, we are very close to the grand finals. There's obviously a few more games to be played, but so far looking good.
Yeah, I don't know if you were informed, but I believe our finals is gonna be a LAN event. So again, you guys, if you guys are a fan of attending LAN events, we're gonna be posting announcements real soon. But for now, this is our final score. We're in our Q3 of our invitational qualifiers, by the way. So just a recap of what happened today. These are our final scores, all in the BO3. Above all, was able to take the series earlier, 2-1. I would say it was a pretty even out, balanced out game. And then, of course, we close out the day with a sweep from Okami Friends. And this was the first sweep that we had for the longest time. And it was all Kara Shaky for being here today. I think it was all care of you. Yeah. I mean, a lot of us were actually talking about, wow, it all stretches out to a game 5 or it stretches out to game number 3. But this is actually the first time it ever happened in a long time. So I hope you enjoyed MLBB and hope you can give it a try later on.
Yeah, no, I will definitely. And it's short and sweet. All I can basically say, I enjoyed all of it. Tried to understand it as best I can, but there's a lot of elements that was quite close to the MOBAs that I play, and it looks very user friendly for people to try out for the first time. So I'll definitely be afterwards having a downloading it and having a look. But again, thank you so much for today, Burger Kim. I really enjoyed being able to be here with you, even though I cast a little bit. It was really nice seeing your professional casting happening.
Yeah, thank you so much, by the way. And you know what? Before we end, of course, since you're already here, maybe you want to plug in your pages. Maybe let other people know, since Arena Esports does not only have Mobile Legends, but we also have PUBG M. We have Dota 2. Maybe you can let people know where to find you and where you're going to be casting next.
Well, I'll be casting Dota for Arena Esports. So I've been casting Arena Dota for them for quite a while now, for a couple of months. So if you guys want to just stick around, watch more Dota games happening in the December, we've got a few games coming up. If you want to find me personally, TV Shaky or Shaky_TV on my socials. You can just go to my Twitch, Shaky_TV, and all my social will be there if you guys want to have a look. But other than that, I think focus is on Arena Esports. Go have a look. We got a few Dota games coming up in the future. Just look at our roadmap, and we'll update you guys as soon as possible. But yeah, I hope to see you guys there as well. And hopefully, with whatever game pops up in the future, I'm always there. I'm always keen for some excitement.
Yeah, thank you guys as well, everyone on the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us all throughout from Series 1 up until here in the Series 2. We also have CS2, Dota 2, of course, Shaky will be there, PUBG M, Free Fire, and of course MLBB. So it'll be ongoing up until February. So hope you can catch all of the games. If you need more information, just check out arenaesports.ae for more information. But that's it for us today. This is going to be the first sweep that we're ever going to be seeing in MLBB, and it's all Kara Shaky. So hope you guys can follow him, give him a follow on Twitch and all of his social media platform. And as for me, that's at Burger Kimcast on all of my socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else. If you want to get updates on, I cast mostly MLBB and Farlight 84, so a couple of FPS games here and there, some PUBG M. So yeah, you guys can follow me there. But I think that's it for today. And thank you so much for joining us. See you guys in the next MLBB stream.
nervous on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. Why do I still have hope? So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see your God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything I got.
Well, this one is a knocker. Step in on the dance and I do my dance. Everything scatter. Right? Right? Right now, man, active. Down with the game like a bandit. Me bring the flame like a matches. Test me no. Without the slackness, active style and pattern, that's a man there. Active. Active. One live life massive. Talking up and off the brandish. Touch road and hold the world has